We're gonna run it. We're gonna run it from the top. We're gonna make it nice and quick. Okay, welcome everyone to the 19th episode of the Nintendo Roundtable podcast. I'm super excited to get into today's episode. All of us here have seen the Super Mario movie, and all of us here also just watched me totally not record like the first minute of us just talking at the beginning of this episode. This is what happens. This is my first time including video on stream
Do we need to
here.
audio sync this again?
No, we're fine. So this is my first time. If you're watching this on YouTube, hello. These are our faces. This is what they look like. This is what our rooms look like. Big shout outs to everyone here. So if you've seen the movie, great. Feel free to stick around with us. If not, go away. This is gonna be all spoiler discussions if you're sensitive to that. Just so
out of the podcast.
Prepare for that. Go somewhere else. Go outside.
House.
Play with some sticks or something.
Go touch some grass.
Yeah, do that. Or actually, that's a way better suggestion. Go watch the movie. What am I saying?
Yeah, go to your local Cinemark, your local AMC, Regal Cinema, Cineplex, Hopper Video. Go watch it, goddammit.
I like that. I like that Yoshiller's like half right. He's touching a grass type, not grass, but close enough.
Close enough.
So today, spoiler cast discussion. We're going to get all into the nitty-gritty details of this movie, our thoughts on it, and what we think comes next after this film. But before we get into all that, let's go around the table and introduce each and every single one of the lovely voices and faces you'll be joined for the next hour or so. Starting with you again, Daniel. Feel free to introduce yourself once more.
Do I get to do the room tour again?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, my name's Daniel. I'm from Good Vibes Gaming. I'm the art director and the content contributor at Good Vibes Gaming on YouTube. And this is my room. I don't really get to talk about it very often.
Yeah.
Here's Tales of Symphonia, Nier Automata. Right above Kefka right here is a banner for Smash Brothers. And this lovely poster over here is the Majora's Mask poster from Symphony of the Goddess, when that used to be a thing and now it's not, and I'm sad.
That is very sad. I do.
F in chat.
F in chat for Zelda.
I wish they would bring it back, but I don't think there's ever really going to be.
Maybe after
it's like gamers listen to music.
Yeah, maybe.
Gamers listening to music in this economy?
Imagine.
That's crazy.
They're like, there's no music in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, so let's just not have it anymore.
What about a Mario
music doesn't
movie
exist
concert?
in Zelda.
A Mario movie symphony?
That's next.
Will never work.
It would never work.
Why?
Why? You don't want to get Chris Pratt singing Sabotage by Beastie Boys on stage?
It's not a very well-known property. I don't know if it'll be
that.
successful.
Yeah, it's too niche. It'll never sell. It'll never sell.
True.
Land.
Definitely. Well, Lex, why don't you go ahead and take the stage from us then? Nice replica of Majora's Mask, and I love your lighting and your shirt.
Thank you.
You big liar! You didn't go to PAX this year.
I am always the imposter.
I didn't even notice.
You can accuse me all you want. I am always the imposter.
That was the first thing I noticed.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, well, it was one of them.
Hi. God. My name is Lex. I am the AV director at Zelda Universe. I also do performance work and TTRPG nonsense and the Mario Wahoo things. I'm here.
You know, I have
witness my nonsense.
I have a question for you. I feel like I have so much freedom for just kind of doing whatever we want now that we have video on screen here. So you said you're like a performance artist, right?
Yes.
Do you want to like do something for us? Like what do you perform?
The dance.
Do us a dance. I don't know. What do you perform?
Dance.
These intros are going to be half an hour long.
If you would like to see me dance, go to youtube.com/ThatLexPlays.
Oh my God.
Check out my performance
That Lex
reel.
dances?
If you want to see that shit, you got to come to the theater and see
Okay.
it live, baby.
Okay.
That
Pay
should
me
be
for
a
it.
new channel.
Tris, I have an idea. Put your arms to the left, like this.
Wow.
No. Like, put your arms out to the left like this.
What is this?
Tris.
Me? Oh, Tris.
Yeah, because you're next to me.
Oh, mine's like out of order.
So I was going to do a thing where your arms go out
It's
to the
different for
side.
everyone.
Also,
And I was going to do like...
Also, if you want to see me dance... Wow. Also, if you want to see me dance, I did an entire, like, 2-part series of the dance in Zelda
Yeah,
analyzed.
that's what I'm saying.
Hey, wait, are you talking about?
Watch that.
What we're here for.
Are you talking about the one from Majora's Mask?
Really cool.
And, like, every other Zelda game.
You know, there's
Because
actually.
I did that in my senior year of college as a BFA in dance.
I've seen that. It's a really good video. I have another fun fact to share with us now that we're doing like intros and stuff. There's actually one other person in this call who has done the Zelda interpretive dance from Majora's Mask, and I think she knows who she is right now.
I have.
Yeah.
That my intro? Is that why you're
I
how you're
can't
trying to
believe
intro me?
Segue.
Anyway, Sam, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I don't have a room to show off because I put my green screen up because it's so messy behind me, but I do want to show this. Hold
What are
on.
we showing?
Hey Sam, at the end, should we
Live
do
animation
a
belly.
duel of? Oh my God, I
Baby.
love him.
Look at the baby.
Is that a
I
squishmallow?
love
Wow.
him.
It's just a void
This
of
is
yellow.
The giant squishmallow.
That is
I
huge.
need
So
him.
good.
What the?
Just
You
a
can get a
little
normal
guy.
sized one, but look
Wow.
at this.
That would cure all my depression.
No, I was.
good.
I would still have
Look at it.
depression, but I do want it because it would make me feel loved.
But I would have it on a
Like-
Pikachu squishmallow.
His own tail and everything. Oh, it's so
Aw.
That is so cute. What the heck? Where'd you,
You know
find
what
that?
I want?
cute. Pikachu. I got really lucky. I just happened to be online when somebody posted that they were in stock at Target, and I had to go pick them up.
I love that.
All of the people, all of the Target employees laughed at me as I walked out of the store, and I was like,
I
do not
remember
screw
this
them.
tweet. I remember this tweet actually. I still want the Lucario plushes that the photos were the most
scary
threatening
life-size
aura.
one.
That's just creepy.
Yeah.
4 foot tall
That-
Lucario.
The one that looks
Man.
out, that looks like if you put the right filters on it, it could be a horror movie poster.
It certainly is to me.
I want that.
No, thank
just
you.
so I can put it in weird places and scare people with it.
Okay, so you're basically the price of admission for you being a menace to society is the price of the Lucario life-size plushie. Got it.
One up.
which I think was very expensive.
I'm already
one.
a menace to society, Alec.
Okay, even more so.
I exist.
God.
That's enough of being. That's enough of a menace in and of itself.
Well, you'd be a menace to all of us except for Tris, who is not part of our society because they are in somewhere. What's going on behind you? What's going on there?
Wait, did Sam even finish her whole intro?
I don't have any. I just wanted to show pictures. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a Nintendo content
Yeah.
creator. Nintendo fangirl. The end. Tris,
Cool.
take
You
it
can't-
away.
Take it away, Tris.
yes, I too have my green screen up because my room is a mess. So I decided to choose the Darklands from the Mario movie, fittingly. enough.
Fantastic.
So I got this nice dry bones behind me. Another one back there.
Just a little guy.
So cute.
But
I love those
ahoy,
guys.
I am Tris. I do video content over on Game Explain. Otherwise, I play a lot of Mario Kart, and I am on Twitter
Yep.
at ToonTris, and that's pretty much the places you find me.
You do play some Mario Kart, and it scares me, and you win every
Mario
time, and I don't know
Kart.
how you do it.
North
Confirmed.
American
Yeah, Tris-
Championship competitor.
Tris is
live
very
on stage.
good.
That's right. That's right.
Okay,
When
Miss
is-
Miss Pax Arena winner.
Oh,
She's gonna bring the trophy out. She's gonna bring that trophy.
It's just within arm's reach at all
Yeah,
times.
you know, she's got it ready.
Listen, sometimes you need to flex on the bitches.
Man, I feel like I'm underprepared now. Everyone's shown something off. Should I just grab something? From,
I just
slightly
am
off?
Do
so
it.
What do you
Do it,
have?
do
What do you
it.
have to
Okay,
show
one
off,
second, 1
Tris?
second.
But also,
I'll show
listen,
off.
when
Oh,
is
hang
this?
on, if he's grabbing something, I'm grabbing
When-
something. Give me
All right.
I'd say
When
we
is-
It
were
might
off-
not work with him. No, it won't. I got an
Oh
apple
no!
Oh, I know what that is.
Fading into.
Oh my God.
Was that a good apple?
Green
Where's
screen won't
Yoshiller
work, so here's
going?
Fue Coco.
What is
I
that?
also grab something.
I'd say we've
Fue
gone off the
Coco.
rails, but we can't go off the rails if we didn't start on the rails.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
That's
What
true.
is- what is
I'll
this?
Just have
Listen.
Fue Coco keep me company.
Oh, good.
Because
I got one of those too.
because the Appleton would not work with the green screen. As I realized as I grabbed
I'll bring
it.
a buddy too. Mario.
Marby.
My little
haven't
guy.
seen one.
I just have the symbolization of
anything
death
real
and decay.
Yoshiller, what did you grab?
Everyone here,
A chips bag.
everyone here
full.
plays.
Okay, you want to see what I grabbed? I've got a lot of cool stuff in here, but I grabbed the thing that would be easy. I have this signed drawing of Captain Falcon from the guy that created it.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty good.
Wait,
He
I
made
have
this
something dumber
specifically
to
for me.
Oh my God! What is it? Show and tell to start off today's cast?
This is what happens when you give us
Imamura.
videos.
I'm sorry.
This is
I
what happens when you
started this.
enable us.
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
Kind of like my
the
most
same
prized
time-
possession
I mean,
now.
it should be,
because
'cause
it was
it's
made
awesome.
specifically for
Fair.
me.
That's honestly pretty cool. Honestly,
Everyone here plays Mario Kart.
And that way, I can go to sleep at night and be like, "Where's the new?"
All your prayers have gone
Yoshiller?
unanswered.
I also have this framed.
Well, I guess it is now. Hello.
What is
here's
that?
Yoshiller, wear a Yoshi
A
hat.
framed photo of Reggie? Why do you have that?
That's like a movie prop. Don't lie to me.
Something from The Office.
Sam, what the heck is going on?
I made.
This is like from the Nintendo headquarters live reality show.
Sam, please, if you Put that like in your bathroom.
My-
Like put that.
I don't want him to watch me do my
Hang that
business,
above the
Yoshiller.
toilet.
How am I gonna top that now?
You know, out of all the times I would want to see Reggie Fils-Aimé framed in a photo, I
Don't.
do not want to see it in the bathroom.
No, Sam wins.
When
Sam wins.
when
That's the best.
when
I
I
can't do
sign
that.
off at the end of the night, I make my chat say goodnight to Reggie.
Oh my
Do
god.
you actually?
That
Sam,
is unhinged
Do you
behavior.
remember
Oh
that
my
tweet
God.
like before E3 started where people were like, Nintendo's presentation is coming up, make sure to leave milk and cookies. And Reggie responded with a picture of himself eating
Oh my
a cookie
god.
with a
Oh
glass
my
of milk.
god.
I
Do you
don't
remember
remember
that? That was like
but
I
that
do,
sounds
I
That was
do.
like 2017 or 2018.
Oh my
I have
God.
had that
That is
framed
unhinged.
picture of Reggie, I think, since like 2010. So
Why?
Oh man, he's young and fresh in that one.
It's
That's so
giving
funny.
Michael Scott the Office
Oh my
energy.
god.
I
Well,
have one
it was
other
actually
thing
it
to
was a
show.
Christmas present from my friend Clayton. So shout out Clayton.
That's
How
Among
funny.
Us!
I love it.
And I've kept it ever since.
Sus.
okay, guys. Well,
Sussy.
I gotta say, for those of you that are listening to the audio version, you are really missing out right now. But we just had a very impromptu
Advertisement
show and
for the
tell.
YouTube version.
Yeah, we had a very
Sure
impromptu
did.
show and tell, and I gotta say, it did not disappoint. Thank you,
No,
Reggie, for
no,
joining
it's
us today.
not.
Nobody
So-
tweet at Reggie.
Yeah, that would be
Everyone
super embarrassing.
He'll respond to
At
stuff.
Reggie.
He'll answer you. I tweeted at him once saying, "Hey Reggie, do you still have the doll that you used in E3 2014?" And he responded saying, "Yep, here
I
it
think
is."
Wow.
he would
Damn.
answer. That's why I don't want anybody to tweet at him. So
Oh, because you're
Yeah.
scared of committing?
I don't want
A
him
full
to know that I have
sentiment,
a
you
framed
coward?
photo.
He'll
of
remember
Reggie.
me as that guy.
I'm scared one
Probably
day.
not the weirdest thing he's ever seen. Let's be
Probably
clear.
not. But
Okay,
he
this-
follows me, and he will unfollow me immediately.
That is so funny because like this is the last thing I'll say, and then we'll get into the Mario movie for those of you that are tuning in for that. But my chat, my audience makes it such a like joke because I have this paranoia. I don't know if you do, Sam, of like one day he's gonna see something really dumb that I tweet out, and he's gonna be like, "Wow, I follow this guy," Bop! And like nuke me off of his follow list, and I'm gonna be sad. I know that
In
day's coming
fact,
eventually, but
Maybe
like,
I should double check. Maybe he's unfollowed. I have no idea.
That's just
No,
how I am with
he
like
still follows us, Sam.
95% of things.
You have to like don't do what I'm about to say, but you have to say some like offensive stuff.
To his
as much as
face.
you may want to, Sam, don't say anything super offensive.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Resist.
Okay,
Bye.
great, fantastic, and thank you all once again. You know, to kind of wrap up that whole point for joining me. Love you all. That was great. And that all being said, I hope you guys are ready to get into it. We're gonna talk about the Mario movie. Okay?
Woohoo!
I'm realizing now that I have webcam, I
Wahoo.
really lean in when I'm talking about this because I'm just like so into what I'm saying.
Listen,
The Mario
listen,
movie.
how do you express the Italian nature of the Mario movie without going in with
Oh,
the
that's
arms?
true. Right, I'd be in character at that point. Okay, so
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
I'm going to preface this by saying that out of all of the notes that I've ever prepared for any podcast episode, this is the one that I have the least on, just because I feel like we can all pretty effectively kind of talk about this, you know, ad nauseum without really needing any sort of guidance. But
Sure.
I do want to start off with our, you know, I mean, obviously going to go see a movie. It was premiered in theaters. It's not something you can go watch at home. So we all, in some way or another, went to go to a theater to watch this movie. And I kind of want to talk about, you know, everyone's theater experiences, you know, and how all of that went. So I'll go ahead and start us off. All right. So first off, I brought my Nintendo hoodie. It's red. I'm not wearing it right now, but I should have. This is, I'm so underdressed, but I brought my Nintendo hoodie. I brought this little guy, which actually got recognized at the movie theater. This is the Super Mario 64 plush from back in the day that I still have and is in a
Wow.
pretty good condition, all things considered. I cut off the tag when I was little because I hated it, but
Does it have
How
the
dare
voice
you.
in it?
no, it doesn't. I think this is like a. Is there maybe another version that does?
Does it
The
sound
one
like Chris Pratt?
the one that I got was from the Nintendo Power magazine, the
Oh.
Power catalog.
Yeah.
And when you squish it, he says, "It's a me, Mario."
That's
whenever you
so
squish
cute.
it, and then eventually it died, and I was very sad. There was one for Bowser too. I had the little Bowser plushie that goes with that one.
I didn't get the Bowser
yeah.
one. This one was a gift from my mom back in like '96. So I brought him with me and we watched the movie together. It was great. I went to go see it at my AMC theater. It was nothing special. It was just a standard viewing. But I got these. I had some popcorn chilling in my question block tin. They are made of tin. You can hear me as I knock on them. But it was good. And like overall, the crowd that was there was very enthusiastic. I feel like I was the one talking the most. Not very loudly, obviously, but whispering amongst the people in my party that were sitting next to me. I was front and center. I made sure it was the best viewing experience I could have possibly had, and overall, it was really great. There was a lot of different ranges of age, I will say, too. I was kind of expecting to be more like on the younger side, just because, you know, people work, and it was like a Wednesday, kind of earlier in the afternoon. But even still, there were people showing up in costumes. I remember there was like a Princess Peach and her daughter. Like, there was like this little girl. She must have been like 2. She was dressed up as Princess Peach. It was so cute. And clearly, the whole audience was just super excited to go see this movie. And I think the last time I really saw that level of enthusiasm in a theater, at least for me, was the first Sonic movie, which was years ago at this point. So it's been a while. And overall, it was really, really great. So what about, I'll just go like in a random order. What about you, Sam? What was your theater experience like watching this movie?
So I went for one of the midnight showings, the only one in my state, at Cinemark Theater. And they did a lot of theater. I think they had 8 theaters going at midnight. So
8? That's a
yeah,
lot.
they weren't full, which I think it was nice that they had a good number of theaters instead of like 3 that were completely full.
Yeah.
So it was pretty busy when I got there, and I was tiny bit. I wasn't late for the movie, but like, you know, you've got like 30 minutes of previews. I probably walked in like 5 minutes into the previews, because I waited in line to also get a popcorn bucket. That's a different one. So this is
wow.
Oh yeah,
That was kinda cool.
Cinemark popcorn bucket, also tin, but it's just got the characters and the logo, and it's also the edges. You probably can't tell on my webcam, but they're like raised, so it's got
That's cool.
Detail.
a nice texture on it. And Cinemark also had cups, so these plastic cups.
Damn.
Jeez.
Our Mario
Wild.
movie, which I know this because I go to Cinemark a lot. I'm like a Cinemark movie club member, which they're
Ooh,
upping
fancy.
the price on, by the way. Rude.
How
But-
dare they?
But
Cinemark.
I already have multiple of these from like the Overwatch. They did like an Overwatch event years ago, and Star Wars. So I already know I like these cups. So when they were
Yeah.
Mario, I was like, "Give me 2 of those."
Cool.
Thank you. And
Nice,
I heard,
nice.
because I posted these online, and I heard from people the next day who were like, "I just went and they were already sold out." So
Oh wow.
apparently,
Yeah.
I saw it
Dang.
after.
Yeah, they went quick.
But it was like a really nice atmosphere. Everybody was excited. There was also a really good mix of ages. I didn't see any crazy costume, but I saw a bunch of people wearing Mario hats. I just had like a cute little Mario shirt on. I was just looking forward to like, it was late. Obviously, it was midnight. Being comfy cozy in my chair. Cinemark. My local Cinemark has like the nice reclining chairs with the heated seats and stuff. So
Ah,
I
man,
had a very nice movie going experience.
your Cinemark is so much more luxurious than mine. Mine's like falling apart.
Oh,
It smells weird and
and
it's dirty.
I
No,
saw it.
wow.
I saw it in what they call XD, which is like
Oh,
in my
like
opinion,
they're like Dolby.
yeah,
things.
it's supposed to be like bigger screen, better everything. But in my opinion,
Right.
Yeah.
all XD really is it's louder. I think it's nice. It's nice because
Yeah.
like then like you get people whispering to each other, and like I would whisper things here, but like you don't hear that when everything is super loud. So
Yeah,
I think it's nice.
that makes sense. Daniel, what about you? All the way over there on the opposite end of the U.S.
Yeah, I went to a Century 25 to see mine. It was on. There was no opening like midnight showing around my area, at least anywhere that was reasonably close. So I went just wherever I could find 5 o'clock the next day. Still pretty packed. Lots of people were there. I was wearing this shirt to represent Bowser.
Nice.
Over there.
shirt.
And
That's a nice shirt.
thank you.
Dainakana? What does it say?
Oh, this is.
Dainakana is what
It says oh gosh, what is it? There's like a series of these shirts that are like looking inside the enemy, and so like there's like a little
okay.
Biology.
looking inside. There's another one with like a Pac-Man ghost, and I think one with a Yoshi. I forget which one.
Okay.
But yeah, anyways, it was really nice. Like there was a lot of people there. They were really excited. There was enthusiasm, all over the theater. I went a second time with my family because my family was over at Disney World. They didn't take me, so I was stuck behind.
Wow! What is that about?
I know, right? Call them out on it.
What the heck, Daniel's
What the
family?
Call them out on it because I had to stay at home. But so Saturday, the day I was able to go with them. And I have 3 little sisters, 7, 5, and 3.
That's so
and,
cute.
I got them. I've been showing them trailers leading up to it. They know Mario a bit. We play Mario Kart every now and then.
Yeah.
I showed them a bit of like Mario Odyssey and such. So they were excited to see the characters in the world, and they enjoyed it quite a bit.
Oh,
the audience was having a good time. In front of me was a man with a Toad hat, and he did the voices every now and then.
Oh my God.
Not during the movie, thankfully.
Every time something
did
happens in the movie.
Before, and yeah, he was quite excited.
Wow.
But yeah, there's just a lot of enthusiasm all around, and it was just nice to see at the theater itself.
Interesting. Well, cool. I'm glad that you guys had enthusiasm. And I gotta say, I've never heard of what'd you say, Cinema 25?
Century 25.
Or Century 25. Century 25.
I had the same experience as Sam, where there was like the nice reclining chairs that you push the button that you lean back on, and then the XD.
Yeah.
Movie
The XD
theaters.
experience. It was pretty good. Although I remember I tweeted a picture for the longest time. I was waiting for someone to show up. I was like, my left and right. I was the only one in the whole row. I was like, no, this can't be what's going on. Where's everyone?
Damn.
It filled out eventually. But yeah.
That would have been
Fun time.
positive. Well, good. It sounds like a good time.
Second time I watched it in 3D, but it didn't really add, too much to the experience. But I mean,
The third
I
dimension didn't do well for the movie.
yeah, it
Only
was
2D.
Mario 3D World just didn't do it for me
So
in that
sad.
context.
So
Damn.
sad.
It's not the same.
Tris, what about you?
For me, I didn't do anything like super special. Like by me, kind of like Daniel, there wasn't anywhere that was showing it like at the midnight showing. So I waited till the next afternoon. Went with my partner and a close friend of mine that lives nearby. We just went to our local theater. There wasn't like anything crazy. Like I don't really think there was anyone like dressed up, but there were like a decent amount of kids, and they all had like plushies with them. Like when we were going in, there was like a family of 3, or a family with 3 kids, and they had a Mario, Bowser, and Peach plushies like each.
Oh
It
my
was really
God,
cool.
that's cute.
That's like the most the highlight I can share from that. It didn't fill up because I went. It was like 2:00 or something like that when I went. So
Yeah.
everyone was people were either still in work or getting out of school or something like that. So it was a good time to go because it wasn't like super crowded. But I don't have any like fun stories from the theater, unfortunately. Other than that, cute seeing kids get excited for it. Cute seeing, they're like actually bringing things along to it.
Yeah. Did you dress up with anything like fitting, or you just kind of went in your day clothes?
I wore the Mario Kart jersey from PAX.
Wow. The solid flex.
Rippin'.
I was most
Rippin'.
hyped for the Mario Kart scene, so I had to live up to that.
Oh, you gotta. Okay. Well, interesting. I don't have anything that cool, but I wish I did. What about you, Yoshiller? You went to a midnight showing too, if I remember correctly.
I did, and I went to a midnight showing for 2 primary reasons. Reason number 1, I figured the sooner I see it, the sooner I can engage in Mario movie-related conversations.
Fair.
We wound up not having this conversation till 2 weeks after the movie came out.
Irrelevant.
But at least I had the opportunity available to me. And reason number 2 is I figured if I went to a midnight showing, anyone else who's going to a midnight showing is probably going to be just like me, like this millennial young adult with some probably too much time on their hands.
Right.
I went and saw it. I didn't get the Mario movie bucket, but I did get the nice seats. Originally, I booked a ticket for a theater that was a lot further away from me, because when they announced that they were selling midnight tickets for the Mario movie, only like 3 theaters were showing up, and they were all super far. And then as we grew closer, more theaters announced they were going to do midnight
Yeah.
showings, and so I picked the theater that was closest. I bought a new ticket, got reimbursement on the old one, saw the movie, came home at 2 a.m, and I don't really have stories of people dressing up. If they did dress up, I guess I didn't notice,
Yeah.
but I was kind of waiting around in the movie theater lobby like an hour beforehand, because I was like, well, I'm already here, like I'll just hang out. Yeah, no real stories of people dressing up, but naturally the theater was mostly full. Pretty fun crowd, but nothing super rowdy like an Avengers Endgame or anything
Okay.
like that.
Pretty normal viewing. Now, did you wear anything in particular? Did you wear a Yoshi hat?
I did not bring my Yoshi hat.
No!
I did bring
for the next
my
movie.
hoodie. This is a hoodie I got from Nintendo Tokyo, so like I wore
Yeah.
this.
Ooh.
But otherwise, I mean, like, maybe I had a Mario shirt underneath, but I was still wearing a hoodie. So
Man.
I didn't do anything.
Yoshiller was going
fancy.
incognito to this showing.
a little bit. So
Okay, pretty normal. What about you, Lex? What do you think? What did you think of the movie? Your experience?
I did not go incognito at all.
Huh?
My friend group that's here in the area, I went to a Century 12 like nearby.
Yeah.
We went on a Saturday night and we made an evening of it. We all met at like 5 o'clock at my friend's place. We got pizza. We just had Mario music playing. We did a little bit of like Mario Kart, like Mario Maker stuff.
Y'all did some pregame.
Oh, obviously. And then we went to the movie. I turned a bit of a femme, like black skirt. I was trying to do like a very Mario like kind of dress sort of situation.
Yeah.
Things didn't work the way I wanted. But I basically did like the flannel with like a black t-shirt and like a skirt and makeup. I thought I looked cute.
So you dressed up, not necessarily like Mario, but like you dressed up.
I overdressed for an animated movie about Mario.
What's that meme of like any other occasion in
is
like the
what I'm
Mario movie in a tux? There's a
Yeah.
meme for that. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. No, let's not mince words here, Alec. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But I went to a 9 o'clock showing, and at my theater, it was really interesting because, like, Shazam that day had 2 showings. Mario had like 20.
Yeah.
They were showing that movie like
Yeah.
every 30 minutes.
What's
in
Shazam?
some theater.
Wow.
What's
Like the
Shazam?
superhero?
Yeah.
Just-
Like
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah,
like
the
the
superhero
DC
movie.
superhero.
Is there a new one?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it's apparently
oh.
not very good.
Oh.
Okay.
No, Alec, you're right because advertising for it has been bad.
Okay.
So you're fine. Don't worry
But
about
no,
it.
yeah,
That's the
it's
only
like
reason I'm
Okay, that makes
that
sense,
had
that
makes
2 showings, period, and Mario had like 30. And it was wild. But like, it was 9 o'clock. We were a little bit rowdy, but like everybody was a little bit rowdy at my showing. We just
Oh,
did the
good.
standard definition stuff. There was no XD at that theater,
Hmm.
but which was fine because it was a good time. And then we hung out outside after the movie and like talked for a little bit because different about things in gaming. And I low-key took notes as like all the references I could find.
Oh, cool. We'll get into that then for sure. I'll be expecting to
But-
hear about your note.
No, yeah, my group went kind of hard because we were all just like we needed to see this because one,
It's a need.
it's
Mental
a Mario
health.
thing,
Yeah.
and 2, we
Mental
weren't
health.
entirely sure how good it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, and my theater also had the reclining seats.
Oh, yeah, you gotta.
Very nice.
Man, whenever I go to a theater that doesn't have those, it feels very primitive. And like, I don't know. Maybe I'm spoiled
Nice
now,
when
but
you
I'm
go
like,
see Avatar and you have a 3.5 hour movie, so you can just like
Or-
lie down and take a nap. And it's fun.
exactly. Oh my God, there's no way you can expect me to commit that much time and not have a reclining chair. I will be
Exactly.
very upset.
For Avatar, it's a requirement.
I'm sure
I
it
don't care
is.
about IMAX. Give me a reclining chair.
I have not bit the bullet on that movie yet, but maybe someday I will.
I'm not interested.
Neither have I.
Wow, that was a big
It's-
wave of just
I will
man
say
at once.
I will say,
I
This is
don't.
I
not
will
the
say
crew for
this about Avatar 2. It looks pretty. The 3D version had weird frame rate inconsistencies because some
Ooh,
frames
cool.
were at 60 and then all of a sudden you go to 120
What?
and you're just like, why?
Ooh.
Huh? What
That-
NVIDIA graphics card fucked this up?
That would give me a headache.
Yeah.
It was a little weird, but like the story is the same, and I'm just like, it's mid.
Interesting.
Ooh.
And of
to
course,
know.
it made billions of dollars. Actually, that movie
course.
apparently needed to be one of the most successful movies of all time in order to just make it back.
Yeah, it
budget.
cost a ton of money to make.
To break even, it had to be the 3rd best, like, most successful movie of all time.
No, thanks. Well,
Which is spicy. But
you
anyway.
know what's not a mid movie?
One more thing.
Oh, what's up?
Did anyone by any chance bring their 3DS for Street Pass to the
No,
theater?
I didn't think to do that.
No,
Oh,
but I brought
no.
my Switch.
Did you?
I brought my Switch.
Okay,
I
well
did
that.
I got a grand total of 2
Yo,
That-
while I
that's
was
not
out
something.
there.
That's
So,
not
me.
so
Yo, let's go.
I'm watching out for you, Xeon, for Nintendo Life. Don't worry about it.
what was
I
the
knew
what
I
was the?
had-
Finally, someone.
I'm sorry, I don't want to derail, but PAX East, I carried my 3DS
Derail.
with me the whole time, and I
Wow.
had to leave it in the room to charge for about 1 hour on one day. And that during that 1 hour is the time that I ran into Xeon from Nintendo Life, and I was
Oh,
like,
that's
I'm
weird.
so sorry.
The one.
Damn.
Wow.
That's why you get portable batteries.
Crazy random
Gentlemen.
happenstance.
Ooh, if anybody's listening and doesn't know,
Man.
Zion from Nintendo Life is just a big proponent of Street Pass on 3DS. Anyway,
Right.
Yeah.
continue.
So, yeah, anyway, speaking of movies that, I mean, in my opinion, are not mid, the Mario movie, right? So, we've gone on and on about our theater experience and everything. We all went to go watch a movie, right? There was a thing that we all walked away seeing at the end of the day, and I think this is as good a time as any to kind of talk about everyone's just opinions on the film in general. It can be about as grandiose as you want to be. You can get to as many details as you want. I will go ahead and start us off once again, just to kind of give you guys a way to like play off of me here. But like, my thing on the movie is that I walked in kind of expecting to not really be as enthused as I thought I would be at the end of the day. The reason for that is because of the casting, right? Sometimes a cast list gets revealed like that, and I'm kind of like, I don't really know what to expect. I can remain hopeful, which I was. But I wasn't really expecting to like it. Specifically Mario, right? Because the whole Chris Pratt discussion has been going on for a while, and I honestly won't even bring it up because we talked about it many times, and I'm sure all of us have kind of just, like, we get it.
Go listen
right?
to the other podcast episodes.
Go listen to the other past episodes if you want to hear me talk about Chris
It's
But
Pratt.
don't do
A few
it now.
times.
Wait, don't do it now. Do it after.
Yeah, do it. Wait, actually, wait
No,
until
pause the video, go watch the other podcast episodes, and then unpause this one.
watch them all at the
We'll
same
We'll
time.
freeze frame for you.
It'll take about 6 hours, but it'll be worth it, I promise.
So I went in with kind of lukewarm expectations because I had the same sort of I hate using the same word again, but I set myself for the same expectations as I did with the Sonic movie. Now, I'm not as big of a fan as Sonic, shocker, but I went into that film thinking like, okay, I mean, it's gonna have like some homages to the games here and there, and I'm sure that the story is not really gonna be related to the video games in any sense, which I don't know if I trust big Hollywood to come up with an enticing story to keep me pay attention to that for long, especially for a Sonic film. But I walked out of it, and I thought it was pretty good. Even as not like that huge of a Sonic fan, I thought it was pretty good, especially Jim Carrey. That worked out way better than I thought it would. So, going into this film, I was lukewarm. But I came out of it ecstatic. And now, I want to go see it again. I know there are so many people out there that are probably doing the same thing. There are many people in my Twitter circle that have seen it many times. Some of them have close to like, I want to say like 5 or 6 times. So some people are going like really crazy for this movie, and I don't think I'll go and see it 5 times, but I definitely want to go see it again in D-Box. Thanks to Sam's suggestion to go in to go see that, because apparently his
You want
Cinemark.
the moving seats.
I want the
though.
moving
Yes,
seats.
D-Box.
I don't
You want
know.
to experience the
think
Mushroom
I think
Kingdom
I'm
in a
gonna
way
do
you'll
that
never
too.
experience it again.
Exactly. I want to feel like
Wow.
I'm there. Whenever Mario punches
You
Bowser, I
wanna
want to feel
wahoo-
it in my butt
wanna-
cheeks.
Be in the Mario Kart. All right.
Yeah. So,
You had me up until there, and then I went.
well, where else am I
bad.
supposed to feel it? You're sitting. That's where you're. Okay,
It's your
anyway.
whole body
In
is
your
It's
bones.
everywhere.
Okay, well, my butt is the thing that's... Okay, guys, okay. I'm not going to get into the biology of where I'm supposed to be experiencing this movie, okay? Anyway, I want to go see it in as grandiose of a
sounds like
showing
a
as
I
possible.
know a
Medical
few
issue.
places.
I want to go see it in as
If-
grandiose of a
I know.
way.
your
I wanna
heart. Your
experience
heart.
If you,
Alex.
if,
Well, I
Exactly.
already felt that, Sam. I want to feel it even more. It's not enough to enjoy
if
the
you
movie.
experience
I
it
want to
for more
shove the
than 4
movie
hours, go
into...
see a doctor.
You want to shove the movie in your face?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking, Yoshiller. Thank you for finishing up that
no.
sentence for me.
Of course.
Again, if you experience it for longer than 4 hours, you should go see a medical professional.
Okay, all this to
Oh,
say,
shit.
I really, really enjoyed the film. A couple standouts for me were obviously Jack Black Bowser. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I heard going up into this film that there was going to be a musical number in this movie. I wasn't expecting it.
Jack Black can have
Well,
have one.
I wasn't
It's
expecting
Jack
it to
Black.
be that. And where my brain was going was like, okay, I mean, it's probably going to be like Seth Rogen
Yeah.
doing the DK rap or something.
Oh
like,
no, I was thinking it was
you
gonna
know.
be Bowser rock concert.
Or that, right?
Yeah,
Because
that
he's
would've
kind
been
of got
almost
those.
did that.
He's kind of got
Yeah.
those themes
That would've
already.
been so good.
Yeah, I mean, some of the
Yeah.
themes from 3D
Hey,
World are
it's
kind
fine,
of
but-
rocky. Anyway,
yeah.
so
Bowser Castle from Mario Kart 8 is literally a rock track.
exactly. So
and
that's
it slaps.
that's what I was
It's good.
expecting. But not only was I not expecting Jack Black Bowser to have as good of a song, musical number, and unexpected as it was, but I also wasn't really expecting it to be as much of a lightning in a bottle as it seems to be. because like everywhere I go on like Twitter or like TikTok or whatever,
love it.
it's just
It is a meme.
it's just
They're
so
talking
much
about peaches.
memery on this. They even made like the music video with him dressed as Bowser.
Yeah.
So it's very
Yeah,
clear.
They
I mean,
put
they
it
knew
out.
they knew what they were doing. They
Yeah.
knew what they were doing.
Put that music video out like the day after the movie came out. So like
That is
nobody-
so
nobody
wild.
That
thought it
was that was
spoilers.
intentional.
It-
That was
yeah.
intentional.
It had to have been definitely like
knew what they were
forecasted
doing.
that would be as big of a hit as it is. But anyway, Jack Black Bowser is clearly one of the standouts for a lot of people in this film. But I also really ended up enjoying the soundtrack as well. I kind
Yeah.
of thought that I was going to, but there is some really great music in this film. I don't really know a whole lot of Brian Tyler's work. He's the composer for this film, who also
That's a good point.
apparently worked with Koji Kondo on some of the remixes for this film, and it turned out great. So,
Yeah, did a great job.
yeah, I'm not really sure about his work history. I think he's done like, I want to say like Age of Ultron. Somebody told
Tokyo
me is like
Drift.
Tokyo. This is so all over the
shit.
board already. What the
Hell yeah.
What the heck is this?
Rambo
some
was
range.
In
good.
Hollywood.
He-
all right, like
also-
he's
oh my
he's
God.
a known composer. in
Oh my God.
Hollywood.
Rambo.
Now you see me.
That's crazy.
He also rearranged the current fanfare of the Universal Pictures logo.
Oh,
Oh, see, that's nice.
Okay.
that's kind of related in a way. Interesting.
But also now you see me in Tokyo Drift. So
Yeah.
you know, classic. He's got
Oh, he's got a lot.
He's
of
a jack
stuff.
of all trades. You know, there's a bunch of different kinds of
Ah.
movies in here.
He's
Yeah,
actually
done
he's
some video game
listed for
work.
like every movie because he did the most recent Universal theme.
That
So-
make, yeah. That makes
He's listed
Ah.
on like every movie, so you have to look at which ones he's actually done. On
Oh, Deck did the
IMDb.
score. Oh,
That's
okay.
kind of like cheating though, because like Satoru Iwata literally programmed a bunch of Nintendo games, but he'll be credited with a bunch of Nintendo games ever since he became president, because he's always in the special thanks.
Yeah.
section.
Right.
and also
It's like,
because
you
the
need-
man
they need to be
deserves
two
it.
separate
Like I'm
lists,
associated,
yeah.
but like I didn't work on it. You know, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, my opinion was generally very, very positive, and I could go on and on and on, but I don't want to take away some of the talking points away from you guys. So, Tris, what did you think of the Mario movie? Feel free to go in as depth as you want, in depth as you want.
This was a fantastic movie. I went in expecting to at least have fun with it, at minimum. This is coming from somebody who the night before rewatched the 1993 movie and has fun with that movie, despite it being a mess.
You rewatched it leading up to this
I
one?
rewatched it. Yes, I rewatched it leading
Oh.
up. Because I watched that movie a lot growing up when I was little, and I enjoy that movie for the mess that it is.
Oh my
But
God.
not because it's not
Okay.
good, but it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
so,
I'll allow
so,
it.
So my thought process was, okay, if I at least have fun with this bad movie, I'm gonna at least have fun with the new movie. I have to.
Yeah.
It'd be really bad if I didn't. So I went in,
Wouldn't be the
and
first time.
the entire time watching this movie, like, goofy smile on my face. I'm like loving every moment of it. The depictions of the characters, the art style, hearing the little references to the music, catching the visual references, including like just a ton of like nods that I never thought they would make.
Like what?
Like there was so like putting Kid Icarus on the big screen.
That, oh my God. I was like the only person in my theater
was
going like,
crazy.
what is that? That's so cool.
You know what the sad thing
The
is?
entire
That's probably the most action Kid Icarus has ever gotten in the last decade.
Yeah, big sad.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is sad.
But it
F in
was
chat.
really exciting. F in chat. But it was really exciting. I didn't expect, like, because all the marketing up until this point, they really leaned in more on like the Bowser the villain, but
Yeah.
they never leaned into like Bowser with his soft side. So I love that the movie actually did that, sang Peaches and everything.
What?
Like the fact that
Yeah.
I'm
What is
sorry.
that?
Animal Crossing Peach.
Oh.
If you heard me opening something open early in the video, I remembered I got like an Animal Crossing
Oh.
box at PAX.
Okay.
And
You
I
had
had
that.
this
You
in it.
had that here waiting.
Yeah, you were just.
I literally
Prepared.
opened it in the middle of this discussion, so I apologize when you're editing the audio. You just hear
Wow.
like the sound
That's
of that
awesome.
opening.
The audacity.
No,
That,
but the fact that we got like the wedding Bowser design from Odyssey was such a nice touch. The references throughout the wedding, the fact that the Mario Kart scene was fantastic, and they actually had like the whole blue shell moment. Like I was wowed at so many points, so many more than I thought I would be. So I came out like ecstatic. Like I loved this movie.
It's actually called a
that-
spiny shell.
Not according to the movie, because the movie outright says.
not according to the movie.
That
Blue
Koopa
shell. Literally
reads
shouts.
blue shell.
I know.
So that's what it is now.
Yeah.
It's canon, Alec.
What were you gonna say, Daniel?
That bit about Bowser. This is Paper Mario from the first Paper Mario Bowser. He can be menacing, he can be
Oh, that's
brutal,
so true,
but he can
yeah.
also be such a goofy, silly
Yeah.
comedy relief character. And I was so happy to
He
see.
will kill you.
I was so happy to
He
see
will
that.
kill you. But he's also really
Yeah.
funny.
It was great
Yeah.
characterization.
You know, it's not the
Yeah,
first time
yeah.
that I've seen it, but I definitely was not expecting it to go that far into like painting him as this like lovable, evil, but yet evil buffoon in like a lot of ways. You know, so I really, really enjoyed that. Now, Sam, what do you think of this film?
Well, on the note of Bowser, one thing I want to say is I was kind of glad that they didn't go too child friendly in terms of like Bowser was very willing
Yes.
to be like, I'm going to murder you. Like,
This movie wanted blood.
Yeah.
Like the first scene that we see in the trailer is like open the gates, but then after you see in the movie it's like or die,
Yeah.
and it's just like there's that
Yeah.
the Luma that wants death.
my
there was
God.
a
It's so
sacrificial
good.
scene.
The Luma
He's gonna
is
kill his
best
brother.
Character.
oh,
This movie wanted to see someone die.
I wanted to see it too. I wanted Nintendo to full send
Like-
that shit.
the
Wow.
dry bones were legitimately scary. Like when Luigi got stuck with the dry bones.
Oh my God, yeah.
Early on, like I was like that, and also like when he walks in and the Shy Guys are all chilling inside.
Oh
this,
my
sca-
gosh.
like that would have legitimately probably given me nightmares as a very young child. But
The blue shell guy, is he dead? Is he
I
out?
yeah,
assume-
He never shows up
think
again,
so.
right? Like he
He killed
I
himself
assume
probably.
it was like a kamikaze situation.
Someone had
There
to
was
die.
also like a lot of explosions that happened on that track. So
Oh yeah, there's a lot. But
he definitely died for the cause.
Died.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
I
mean-
I liked that though. I was glad that it wasn't like too like catered to be
To younger people, younger audiences.
G-rated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was nice. One thing that caught me, I guess, somewhat by surprise, I was also really skeptical about what our main character, our Chris Pratt voice, was going to end up being. And I want
Yeah.
to say that I think the trailers did him really dirty.
Yeah.
I
I
agree.
Yeah.
think a lot, especially early on, and I think they may have recut parts of the audio tracks in order to take some of the feedback in early on. Particularly, one thing that I noticed quickly, because I said on my way to the theater, I used the line "Mushroom Kingdom, here we come" like 20 times, and then they
Yeah.
took it out of the movie. It wasn't in
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah, what the
True,
heck?
it's not there.
Yeah, so
Holy
I
shit.
think they took some of the feedback, but in the movie, I think he did leagues better than what they showed in the trailers. I think, and maybe they spliced a bit here and there with, probably not actual game audio, but actual like mimicking of audio lines and stuff like that. And it was a lot closer to what you would expect of a Mario voice, of even like the Brooklyn accent worked pretty well when he was doing the New York scenes. And I think that Chris Pratt actually was one of the better voices in the movie, to be honest. So shout out Chris Pratt. I've been real critical
Right.
for the past year. I feel a little bad because I actually think he did great. The soundtrack was probably one of the big standouts for me. I already pre-ordered the vinyl for that.
Same.
Pretty
Oh, word.
excited, and I'm glad that they already put it on streaming services because I've been listening to it
Yes.
on Spotify.
Yeah, I listened
Very
to it
happy.
already this week
Yeah.
at least once.
And I think just overall, it was really, really just solid, like simple story, but solid movie from start to end. And one major concern I had before the movie came out was that Mario in general doesn't have like a specific canon. He has, a bunch of different stories, universes, if you will. So I was concerned that this would come out and whatever it is, good or bad, was going to be like the canon for Mario, because maybe not at any official capacity, but just like what people think of for Mario when it comes to like how he interacts with Bowser or Peach in the future. And I was concerned about that. And at this point, after seeing the movie, I think I would be more okay with it because I think they were pretty faithful to kind of meshing a bunch of different universes, Mario universes, into the movie.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with the movie. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing it another time, probably also in D-Box. So
Hey.
all
I'll let you know
around,
my
2
review.
thumbs up.
Did you cry like I did?
I kind
Whoa.
of I got teary-eyed, but I get teary-eyed triggered very easily from music, and there was a lot of really good soundtrack songs in there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, between that, like the soundtrack and the things that were getting me, and I'll get into this in a little bit, but
I
the
have
things
one
that were
more thing to
getting
say.
me were like any of the moments where Mario and Luigi were just loving each other as brothers.
Oh, they're
I was
so
like,
cute.
this is so wholesome. I want to cry. Like, what is going
That's
on
what I
with
was here
me?
for.
one
I
one
know.
spot where I actually came very close to just like losing it and sobbing was the beginning,
Yeah.
before the movie started with the whole Nintendo logo. Just like they did
That
like a
was
really
Seeing that.
adorable wrap up, big Nintendo logo on the screen. Like
Yeah.
just seeing that and seeing, like, I think it was a glimpse of how big we could be seeing Nintendo get in the next decade.
Yep.
Obviously, Nintendo's already huge, but they have the potential to become really a media giant. And I'm not saying, oh, Nintendo Universe confirmed cinematic, but I do think
God, no.
just seeing the logo on the big screen was so touching.
It was
because
weird.
it was a way that we
Surreal.
haven't seen it. Yeah, surreal is a
Yeah.
good word for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Surreal is great. Great described.
I remember watching, like at the very beginning, the Nintendo logo came up and I was like, "This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen."
This
Like,
is happening.
I see Nintendo shit on my TV on a handheld when I'm about to play my like Zelda, and now I see it next to a Universal thing in a movie. Man,
I'm in
life
a
comes at
theater.
you fast.
Yeah.
I'm in a movie theater. I have reclining seats. Like, what
Comfy.
the hell is this shit?
Man.
Yeah.
What weird Black Mirror nonsense do I have here? No, it was wild.
That's good. That's good. What about you, Daniel? What do you think of the movie overall?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I mentioned this in the discussion before in a different discussion, but this is like something I've wanted since I was a kid, you know? Like you see you play Mario games back then. It's kind of niche in the 90s, especially because not many people have that interest. And at least for me, I had a lot of friends that didn't have any idea what I was talking about. So when I found a friend into gaming, I was really like attached to hanging out and playing games with them. And so just the fact that we had shows like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, we had the original live action movie. They didn't really pull into the source material the same way that made me feel like I was playing the game. Like there was just different things about it that was different enough that it didn't really feel like the game to me. I guess a little less with the Super Show, but still that concept kind of stayed for a long time. And then to finally see the movie receive like the budget to in direction, art direction, in sound direction, everything.
Yes.
It was just like such a magical thing to see in the theaters come to life because it was just interesting to see how they did this movie from like obviously paying homage to everything that the Mushroom Kingdom is, but also kind of like also tying in an origin story as well.
Yeah, I didn't realize
was-
that until like I left.
That was really cool to see. And just Brooklyn itself, it's just in the 80s. You see all the storefronts. You see like the Ice Climber Polar Bear. The freaking pizzeria is Punch Out Pizzeria.
Bunch
Yeah.
Out Pizzeria. That was
That
so
made me very
cool.
happy.
That one guy's playing the arcade machine. It's the
It's
not Donkey
Jumpman.
Kong because
It's called Jumpman. in the movie.
Jumpman, but it's a Yeti instead of a giant gorilla instead, which
Yeah.
is hilarious. You see like in Mario's room, there's posters for track and field, other
Star Fox, I
NES
think, is
titles.
He has
also
an
in there.
R-Wing.
Star Fox. Yep.
He has an
Starfall,
R-Wing.
yeah, on television. It's weird to think that in this super bizarre world, the NES exists, but there's no Mario games on it, and so Kid
My
Icarus,
comments on that. when we get to
Icarus
my
is
turn.
the highest
Yeah.
performing game out there, which is some
Press F
universe
to
out
Kid
there is like
Icarus.
there.
Yep. Rip.
Yeah,
That could be us,
but-
but
but yeah, just I was just in love with what I was seeing the entire time, and just all the references throughout the entire thing. A lot that I caught, especially like during sequences like the Donkey Kong fight, which is essentially like also kind of like a Smash Brothers reference as well, if you wanted to think of it that way.
That's what I was thinking.
Everything
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
'Cause,
a
like-
mix of the original game and Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Like the first attack Mario does is like the forward air. Well, at least he
Yeah.
was going to until he gets smacked down.
Absolutely
But everything,
mollywopped.
everything from like when DK gets defeated, you hear the do 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 when he gets when he faints out there. And I don't think not many people know this. You remember that scene where Mario gets, well, he doesn't get it, but the fire flower appears from the question block, but he doesn't get it because DK blows on it the same way he does in Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Country.
The little blow
good touch.
that he does.
Such a
I
good
did
touch.
not realize that. What? Huh.
That's a little reference there. And that's a more obscure one. But things like that,
Interesting.
and he rides the barrel cannon like he's flying as well later on when they jump out of the eel, which by the way also shows up for the nightmare eel.
Yes.
There's so many little
Scary.
things in there in this movie, and
Yeah.
oh my god, it was fantastic to watch all the way through.
Yeah. Well, I heard him speaking up earlier, but I'll go ahead and let him take the floor now. Yoshiller, what did you think of this movie?
Yeah. Look, I liked it. Just so we're clear. All right. But I'm a bit more critical because you can't just pile a bunch of good references together and be like, dude, that was like the best movie I ever saw. Okay? Because let me be clear. Pixels with Adam Sandler is not a good movie, but it's a bunch of video game references.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's more to a movie than references.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So, all things considered, I did enjoy it. It is nowhere near close to what I would call a bad movie. And frankly, I think more people need to see more bad movies. I think it's important for people to play bad games. I think it's important for people to see bad movies.
True.
Help set your
And
standards,
this movie strikes me as a movie that had a lot of rewrites. And
I could see
not
it.
saying that's a good or a bad thing, but ultimately what we need to grade was what was presented in front of us. And I think the movie played it very safe, and I think that that's fine. And it kind of makes me realize that in today's day and age, it is absolutely okay to have movies that play it safe. Because there are a lot of bad movies that try to have like this deep, dramatic message, and like nobody cares.
Yeah.
Right? So like if I had to choose between, well, you know, I need something that makes me feel smart and it's a bad movie versus just something where I can turn my brain off for an hour and a half and enjoy it, like I would rather choose the latter. And that's what the Mario movie is. And it sounds insulting, and I don't mean it to be. I did have a fun time watching the movie. I think it was I think it was a very fun experience. But I think this movie's legacy, what it's going to be, besides being the highest grossing video game adaptation
other than
of all
that.
time, is it's gonna turn into that film that television networks are gonna play all the time, and people are just gonna leave it on in the background when they have family over or something like that. You know, it's not a movie that I think is gonna win any awards at the Academy Awards, although I acknowledge that Jack Black's song got nominated for an Oscar, so like
I thought
Oscar-
it's eligible.
It's eligible
potential.
too.
It
It's
could be,
eligible.
yeah.
okay. And you know, it could get something on the literal animation front because the movie itself looks really good. But, you know, it's not, if we want to compare it to other animated films,
Pixar.
like Pixar is usually the one that sets the standard, right? Like it's not a Pixar film.
Yeah.
And Pixar not only looks good, but they have these great deep stories too that appeal to kids and adults. This film mostly appeals to kids. The references are for the adults, right? Like all that stuff, the Punch Out Pizzeria and all that, like that's clearly for us. But you know, if I do compare it to other animated films, like recently we got Puss in Boots 2, right? And that's a movie that knocked it out on all fronts. It looked good. It was funny. It told a great
Man, I
story.
need to see that.
The Mario movie is not that. But it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
And so all this to say, I did enjoy it, but I'm not jumping to the gun that everyone else is doing with like, oh my god, you know, I cried when they made the reference to Super Mario 3D World. Like, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not saying you're not allowed to do that, but I'm not that type of critic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna sit here and watch the movie and judge what's in front of me, and what I got, I enjoyed. And I think that's the main most important thing, is that I did enjoy it.
All right, listen, Yoshiller. We all know the reason why you're being so critical, and it's because Green Yoshi
Yoshi wasn't
wasn't in
there.
the film. Okay,
In
you can
one
get it off
scene.
your chest.
There was a
One
running
single
Yoshi.
Well, Yoshis were in
There
the
weren't
movie.
green ones.
Albeit in the
Well, I
background.
mean, there's,
And
like,
that,
antennas, but-
that does bring up a good point. There's a lot of establishing shots in this movie, and I don't know if that was just the type of thing where the 3D animators were trying to get a test for how the movie would look, so they established shots of like Bob on Battlefield or the Desert Kingdom or
so
whatever.
cool.
And then Nintendo didn't want to throw them out, so they just kind of did a crossfade for them in the movie, or if there were actually supposed to be scenes there, and they cut them out for the sake of brevity.
know.
Because, like I said, this movie strikes me as something that had a lot of rewrites, and the final product of what we got, a lot of people say that the movie is very fast-paced, and I agree. And I get the feeling that there was more to the movie, and that when it got to the cutting room floor, you know, Miyamoto or someone said, cut this scene, cut this scene, cut this scene, only include what's necessary to the plot.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get, and to be honest, that's fine, because otherwise the criticism is, what was the point of this scene? Why was this scene in the movie? And there are 2 scenes I can think of that I would actually still take out of the movie. But I definitely get the vibe that this movie did have a lot of scenes that were changed or flat out cut, and there is evidence of that in the trailers, not just from lines being removed from Chris Pratt, but like we know for a fact that the scene where Mario, Peach, and Toad are walking on the bridge with the Cheep Cheeps, that scene was significantly trimmed down for the movie, and that's fine. Like I said, ultimately what we got, what they presented to us, the meal they served on that dish was fine. There was, you know, they didn't serve stuff that didn't need to go with it. They make it to the next round of Chopped, right? Like, they did a good job. So,
Okay.
they're fine.
I have some thoughts on that. Before we go on, everyone's kind of given their thoughts, right? I haven't skipped anybody.
Nope.
No, I thought that
Lex.
Lex did.
Oh, are you saying
keep
nope
forgetting me.
You're saying nope like you haven't?
I'm trying to point.
No. Yeah, you skipped me.
No, yes. Okay.
No.
Yeah, just yeah. Okay, go ahead. Take us away. What do you think of the movie? What do you think of the movie?
Well, maybe my thought doesn't matter anymore. God. I will guilt trip you for this. I don't give a shit.
I asked for a reason.
Yeah. I came in with a very, like, I wanted the movie to be good, but I wasn't very hopeful because Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
But I did really enjoy it. I wanted, I think one of the things I appreciated is that you can do a lot of references, and then it's just chock full of references, like what Yoshiller said. But, like, doing it in a way that's subtle, but also making it its own is important. Like, they go with, and something I appreciate that they did is they went with the ad, the commercial, with the, like, standard Mario voice that we are aware of. And then they pull away from it being like, was that accent too much? Do you think it went too far?
Yeah, it was good.
Where it's like,
It's a stage
okay,
voice.
we've established what that is, so it's there. And now it can be its own thing, and I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I also really appreciated, I think, like a lot of y'all said, Jack Black as Bowser. Perfection. And I also appreciate that we do get that, like, tender side of him where he's just kind of like stumbling his words because he's so into Peach. I appreciate that because you can, in animated films, we're starting to get villains with more dimensionality, but it doesn't always happen. And it doesn't always stick the landing. And this one did stick the landing, which I think was very good. And I appreciated that.
Yeah.
And also the amount of just references that were just, like, thrown about. Like, there are so many great, like, nods to all these different games. Like, there was a font on one of the storefronts of Mario Sunshine. There was moments of Double Dash and Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart Wii and obviously the DK rap and stuff that's directly from the game too. That was just in there. Some of the music credits are just, this is from Bowser's Fury.
Yep.
Like, straight up, which I liked that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I also really liked, I'll also say it, Chris Pratt was fine. You know what?
He's all right,
He was fine.
Yeah.
He was passable. Anya Taylor-Joy rocked it.
On that point, Chris Pratt was fine, but there was nothing about his performance, in my opinion, that some other Hollywood actor couldn't have done.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion
Correct.
on it. Like, he was
Probably
fine.
true.
I'm not gonna diss him. I think the trailers painted him in a bad light, but I still stand by it. Like, it didn't have to be Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Correct.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't mean, I continue your point. I just didn't say that earlier.
Correct. No, yeah, you're right. Anya Taylor-Joy I really liked. I like having a Princess Peach with agency.
Yes.
Because
True.
for the love of God, like, I get it. There's a whole damsel in distress trope. But y'all, it's 2023. I think it's time for a change. Let's have
It's aged.
it, because it does show its age of it's always, oh no, she got kidnapped again. And it's just at some point there needs to be something else injected in the franchise to make it a little bit better. And I do appreciate how they did it with Princess Peach, and Anya Taylor-Joy does a great job of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just like the great minor details of the world, how they handle the animations of the characters, all the combat and stuff like that. I loved how they handle all that kind of stuff. I think they were very respectful, and I think it's to the point that was made about how like the Mario Bros. Super Show and the Mario movie from like the 90s was done. People didn't have the respect of video games back then.
You can
and
tell.
they do now.
Yep.
And you can clearly tell because back in the 90s they were still looked as kids' toys and all of that. And we see that with stuff like Emoji Movie and Pixels that tried to emulate like, oh, we're trying to be hip and all that, but they didn't know how. But we've had these string of good adaptations of video games from Castlevania on Netflix to The Last of Us to Halo's not really on that list, but like it's
Arcane.
okay. Arcane, another great example. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Even the Sonic movie, which I haven't seen.
Oh, neither of them? No.
Nope,
Wow.
we're not gonna get to that. Anyway,
No.
Pikachu, also very good.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
like,
yeah, that was
I think
cute.
we're adding a point where these people now who played these games are now in a position of power to make the versions that they want to be respectful and make something that everyone can watch.
Mhm.
And you'll all get something out of it. Because, like, for me, as someone that really, like, I owe Nintendo in a way for my career as, not necessarily in Mario, but, like, these games are what shaped me. There is a duty to serve a franchise that has the legacy of Mario.
Yeah.
And I do genuinely think that Universal and Illumination really did a good job with this, which was surprising because, like, you don't expect the company that made the Minions to hit that hard with...
Hey, Minions
Yeah.
is actually a pretty good movie.
Which one, Sam? There's like 10.
Debatable.
I saw the first
Actually,
one.
I didn't watch Rise of Gru, but I heard it
I
was
thought
pretty
it was
good.
actually pretty funny, and then I saw The Rise of Gru on an airplane, and I also thought that was actually pretty funny.
I will debate that, but that's
I heard Rise of
that's,
Gru was
neither
pretty
here
good.
nor there.
I mean, not a Pixar movie, but I laughed out loud. That's all I'm saying.
But also,
On the
like,
plane,
and a lot
just-
of- and I also think a lot of people are looking at it as sort of depth, and like Mario's never had that depth anyway, because the story has not changed in like the 35 years that Mario's been around. There is no real clear story arc like Zelda or like Metroid or other major titles have. It's not a Last of Us kind of game. It's just you hop, you jump on shit, you punch Bowser in the face,
Wahoo.
end of story. You wahoo all over the place. Excessive
Okay.
wahooing.
Okay.
But no, and like that's all kind of what it needed to do, and it just needed to do it adequately enough to make it not seem like it was punching down and being cheap. And I do think they succeeded in that regard.
Cool.
And I am generally interested in seeing where we go from here because, and I don't know if this is going to be one of your topics,
It will be.
but well, guess what? I'm going to spoil one of your topics because you almost skipped me.
Okay. Wow.
One of the interviews that Miyamoto did during the press tour was, when's the next Mario game? And he said, stay tuned to a future Nintendo Direct for more Mario game announcements. And like, one, we are due for one. Mario Odyssey was the last big one, which was from the Switch's launch, which is 2017. And two,
6 years.
where are we going from here? Are we going to continue to have the same kind of standard Mario game? Or is this going to start changing how that interaction is, like what Sam was saying? Or are we going to have things that maybe have more of a Paper Mario twist in identity into those? Because say what you want about Paper Mario as a franchise mechanically, the stories are always more interesting than mainline Mario. And I will
funny.
fight people on
Just-
that.
Yeah.
I'm
also-
with you.
They always are.
Like, shit on
Next
Stick-
Mario
Ever
game.
Shit
since-
on Sticker Star you want. I thought the rating was kind of fun.
I like Sticker Star.
Next Mario
Ever-
game can mean any Mario game. It doesn't have to be mainline.
Exactly, it
It
could
mean
still be
the
Paper
next
Mario.
Mario Party. It can mean Mario.
Mario
Baseball.
Run
Ever-
2,
You
baby!
you're
Let's
saying
go!
We haven't gotten a mainline Mario
being-
game since Odyssey. That's irrelevant. The next Mario game could be freaking Mario goes to the movie and watches the Mario movie.
Heck
I would
yeah.
pay for that. Let's
It
be
can
very
be
clear.
anything with Mario in it.
No, that's very true. However, this is very much
Because-
I could see them doing, this is like a mainline thing. And because they also, I think Nintendo's also aware, whatever Mario game they're going to do, if they time it to like a launch or close enough to when a more physical collector's edition of the movie goes out, their numbers are going to soar regardless. And
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
even
true.
riding the wave of the movie, the next Mario game will probably do very well. We probably won't hear anything about it until after like Tears of the Kingdom is out the door,
Yeah.
because they're not
Sure.
going to get anywhere for at least the first month and a half.
Where we're at right now, you're right. There is not a significant Mario game out right now, unless you want to count Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's DLC.
Doesn't count.
The timing of this movie works well with the launch of the Super Nintendo World theme park in Hollywood.
Correct, that's the other
because
thing.
the idea is that people will go see the movie and then they'll want to go visit the theme park, right?
Yeah.
So you're right. There will be something.
There's a
but
bunch of
that's
integrations
just-
here.
There doesn't have to.
Yeah,
be.
there's a bunch of
Yes.
integrations and timings that I do think worked out in both Universal and Nintendo's favor, that I am interested to see the trajectory of where this goes.
Sorry, Alec. Did you want to say something?
No. I was actually gonna ask what Daniel had to add to that because I saw that you had something to say here.
Oh, just it was going back to Peach's involvement of how she's being treated in the plots and all these, and it goes all the way back to Mario RPG, where that was the
Yeah.
plot for a little bit, but then it wasn't the plot. She actually joins your party with Bowser, and that made for a much more interesting dynamic, especially in a story where that wasn't what the plot of the game was, and you see that a lot in the Mario RPG games, because Paper Mario is like the most like classic story of Peach gets stolen by Bowser, but that's the only one, because Thousand Year Door, that Bowser isn't like your main antagonist. Super Paper Mario, they're all a team again, and Mario and Luigi, Superstar Saga, even that's not the main plot. And I hope they follow that with the mainline series. Like I know it's
And then Origami King and the others, they don't, like, Peach is in danger, but Bowser's not involved. It's a third party where you have to then team up with Bowser to like, stop everything.
Oh, Bowser.
In the
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi games, Peach isn't even kidnapped till like halfway through most of them, except for Paper Jam.
Yeah.
I forgot Paper
That's
Jam
true.
existed.
So did I.
oh,
What the
man.
heck?
Poor Paper Mario.
Can I before we move off of the Mario movie specifically, do you mind if I add like one more thing that kind of like works in the movie?
Sure.
Sorry, am I keeping?
Sure.
Okay. You're like giving me a look because I can
No,
see your
I'm
face now.
I'm looking
All
at
right,
your camera.
so-
It's like on my monitor.
To the movie's credit, the way it portrays certain characters and their wants and motivations, admittedly, although rushed, does work pretty well. And I think that's the reason that this is seen as one of the better Illumination films. So what I mean is, because I take storytelling kind of seriously, Mario makes it somewhat clear at the beginning of his movie that he wants to save Brooklyn, right? He wants to become the next big thing, and literally in the commercial he goes, "To save a Brooklyn," and Luigi goes, "And Queens." But, you know, what I
Nobody
was
cares about
wondering,
Rip.
well, it's gonna matter if they ever do like a Punch-Out movie, even though he's from the Bronx, but I digress. What I'm getting at though is when I went into this movie, we all know it was going to be about this guy who winds up in the Mushroom Kingdom and kind of gets involved in this secondary plot, right? So I was wondering, why does Mario have to get involved with that, right? Like, what purpose does he serve? Because bad writing is when a character's actions don't correlate to the plot of the movie. Good writing is generally a character wants something, a character tries to get that want, a character gets caught in some misfortune due to that character's actions, and the character himself gets himself out of it. That is writing 101 for a movie, okay? Bad writing is when another character comes in and like solves the problem out of nowhere, or the character's wants and desires aren't accomplished by the end of the movie. So Mario wants to save Brooklyn, and it's that want that makes him turn on the news, and he sees that there's a flood in downtown Brooklyn, and he's like, "Luigi, this is our chance to go save Brooklyn." And in doing so, he accidentally winds up in the Mushroom Kingdom. So that works for me. I was afraid that it was just going to be a random Mario's walking home one day, he happens to fall down a manhole, and he winds up in the Mushroom Kingdom, okay? That would be bad writing.
Yeah.
But this works.
That's more
and
like the
to
Lego
movie's
movie.
credit,
That's
yeah.
exactly
To
what
the
happens.
movie's
in the
Also
movie.
it
Chris
actually is
Pratt.
actually.
Yeah, also Chris Pratt.
Shit.
But to the movie's
It's all
credit,
connected.
What is that, his writer?
what actually also works is they kind of make a joke about it too, right? So they establish at the dinner scene when Mario is talking with his dad, and he's like, "Dad, what do you think?" And his dad's like, "What are you doing, giving up your job to pursue some lousy dream?" And then Mario's sitting in the eel, and he's talking with Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong's like, "My dad doesn't even support me." And Mario goes, "Well, my dad doesn't support me either." And Donkey Kong goes, "Well, your dad's right."
Lamau.
That gets a laugh out of me because it subverts the expectation, right? If the movie did more of that, I think I would have enjoyed it more. But as it stands, does it technically have good writing? Not deep writing, but yes, it follows the rules set and forth to have like a good premise for a movie. The main thing I was thinking about, like, there needs to be a reason that Mario gets involved. There needs to be a reason that Mario is here, and there needs to be an objective that Mario needs to solve. So ultimately, he's saving his brother, but the entire final fight of the movie takes place back in Brooklyn.
Can I say I actually think the final fight was the weakest part of the movie. I hated.
That's fair.
I hated
but
that
I think
they
it's
ended
important.
with the superstar. Like,
It
I was like,
had
this
to
is literally
happen.
just the supersonic scene, except Mario.
Yeah.
I hated
Okay.
it.
It doesn't
so,
have to be
fine.
unique in order to do the thing, and I think you had to bring it in with the superstar
No.
at some point, and I thought it was
But
fine.
I think what Yoshiller's saying about subverting expectations, that's the thing. That was the opposite of subverting expectations. And so, like,
Yes.
if something happened, like Peach grabbed the superstar, or
Oh, that would have been sick.
Toad grabbed the I don't
Toad?
know.
If it was only Luigi.
I just think that was the most predictable, obvious thing that could have happened, and then I didn't appreciate that part of it. But
Yeah.
also,
So
it ended the
that's
movie
fine,
correctly.
and I
so
somewhat
don't know.
agree.
This is a.
I somewhat agree. The thing I'm getting at, though, is ultimately Mario does accomplish his goal of saving Brooklyn, even though he got himself into that situation in the first place. So anyone who wants to sit here and say that the movie is objectively bad, I'm kind of like, well, no. It hits the notes of following a good story-driven movie.
Yeah.
It's just not a deep movie. This isn't a 10 out of 10 movie. But it gets like a 6 or a 7 from me, Like, that's what I'm trying to get at.
This is actually really great that you bring this up, because after Lex was finished talking about, the thoughts on the movie, my next section here was going to be two-part. So, first part is, it's so easy to, sing the praises of a film like this, because we're all Nintendo fans. This is something we've been waiting for a long time, and it's actually not a bad film. But the first question of this two-parter is, number one, is there anything about this film you did not enjoy? And number two,
Yes.
this was a pretty big point of discussion leading up to the release because of review embargoes and stuff like that. What do you feel is the importance of, for a film like this, reviewing it as a film versus as a fan? Right? So where do you think, and where do you draw the line as far as that goes? Starting with you, Tris.
Okay, so I think it's important to. I think it's very important to look at it as a as a film in general. You can't have the bias of just looking at it as a fan perspective, because it is important to be able to tell what the film does right, why it works, or doesn't, and for them to be able to do more with it, because otherwise it's going to be one and done. That's it. But I think a lot of the critical problems that was running into was people were underselling why fans would like it, and they were only looking at it as critically, how is the movie, and they were completely removing the idea of the things people would enjoy out of it. I think if they were reviewing it as if it was new, original, I don't know, like the next Illumination movie coming out, about like the
Migration.
ducks. Yeah, Migration. They were reviewing it as if they were reviewing that. They were not reviewing it as if it was this adaptation of an existing beloved IP that matters. And that was very undersold, because the only real reference that got critically was, it's reference hell. It's just tons of references. That's it. That's all people are going to get out of it. And I think that really undersold the heart that the film managed to capture from the games, which that it then speaks to that balance. Then I think in the same way you can critically look at a game, that's how you need to also critically look at this movie, like you would a game, not just as a movie. Because I think as a movie on its own, like removing like a lot of like the fan bias and all that, it is like all right, the fun all right, but it's when you look at everything else and the fact that it managed to capture the heart of the games and what makes people smile and enjoy the games. You have people that normally don't go back to rewatch movies in theaters going back to watch this one.
That's me.
That's like people who go boot up a game again after beating it. That says something, and I think that's been largely ignored. I need you to remind me what the other part of the question was. I got really hung up on that one.
What you didn't like?
What did you
like?
specifically
What you
not
would
like about
change,
this film?
or-
Okay, all that this actually tested very well. All that being said, as much as I was very hyped up for the Mario Kart segment,
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed in execution of what actually played out on the Rainbow Road scene, because it really was just a battle in karts. I was hoping there would be something that felt more Mario Kart in its essence. Even if it was like starting off with like the main cast like playfully like I'll race you there kind of thing, just like something to like kind of show off the driving skills before getting to the battle of it all. And I don't know, I think when it started to the climax of that scene was better than like the first part of it, but I wish the Mario Kart scene was a bit better. And I do also agree about the Brooklyn final battle of, I wish there was more to it to, I guess, make the superstar scene feel a bit better. I don't mind that it ended with them getting the superstar, but I kind of wish like the power-ups was such an important part and such an exciting part of the film. I kind of wish there was like a montage of just a bunch of power-ups leading up to that. Have like Mario and Luigi jumping through like 3 different abilities each as they work their way through another 2D area to
That
get
would be
to the
sick.
star.
Yeah.
In like one of those like scenes where like, oh, they're jumping for it while on the other side Bowser's jumping for it, and it's like dust clouds. Oh no, who got it? Oh, they got it.
Plus, we
Something
didn't
like that.
really get to see Luigi get power-ups. So
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
that'd been nice.
Poor guy.
I wish that I was really hoping Luigi would have set up there to get something before just being dragged into the power star or the superstar.
That makes sense. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, for me personally, there's a couple of things that I don't really like really landed as well for me. The number one is the Mario and Luigi chemistry. As much as I love seeing it, why are they separated like the whole time? They work so well off of each other, and they spend 90% of it just being totally just not together.
Nah, I agree.
I have an answer to that. I have
What's
an
your
answer.
answer?
Ooh.
Okay, because let's think about it this way. Okay, if you really want to dive into the nitty gritty of the plot, if Mario and Luigi never fell into the Mushroom Kingdom, that does not change the fact that Bowser was going to invade the Mushroom Kingdom and try to attack Peach and the Toads,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not Mario and Luigi were there. Mario and Luigi kind of get caught in the crossfire,
Right.
but they don't need to, right? Like, there's no reason that Mario technically has to help out Peach. He's a nice guy,
He
but
needs
he could have
the
just been focused on
incentive.
trying to go home. Yes.
Yeah, it was
the
incentive.
the plot of the movie could have just been, how do we get home? But the only reason Mario would stick around and fight Bowser is if he had something to fight for, and if Peach got kidnapped, that means nothing to him.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he's a nice guy. Maybe he would help, but it is more impactful if he saves Luigi, because they established several times in the movie, like his dad even says, you're bringing your brother down with you. Mario says, well, Luigi and I do everything together. We've never been apart this long.
Exactly.
We'll always succeed if we're together. That only works because it's his brother. If it's just some random damsel in distress, it doesn't matter. They could do it in a sequel, now that they've established that they're friends and whatever.
Yeah.
But for right now, no matter what was going to happen, Bowser was going to attack Peach. And maybe Peach would have gotten out of it on her own. We don't 100% know. But as far as this plot goes, it needed a reason for Mario to get involved, because otherwise the plot would have been, how do we get back home? Oh, there's a giant turtle we have to beat for some reason.
I see where you're coming from, and I think a lot of this kind of plays into the fact that this movie does feel very safe in a lot of ways. My counter with that to that would be that the movie is not actually about Louis. I mean, it's a part of the story, but I don't think the movie is necessarily about Mario trying to save his brother. The movie is about Mario trying to find purpose and like a
Yes,
motivation
that's what I
for
said
him
before,
and
yeah.
confidence in himself, because it's established at the very beginning in the dinner scene where his dad doesn't care. He does not care about him pursuing his passions or anything like that. The only person in his life that does, other than Luigi, is Peach. It's brought up in the Fire Flower section, and how I forget the quote, but it's something to the effect of like, "You never know when to quit," and that sticks with him all the way to the very end of the movie. And I feel like that is more of his personal motivation to fight for and save this Mushroom Kingdom, because this is her kingdom, and she's the only person in his life that believes in him the way that he wants his dad to, or his mom to. So if you were to ask me, what would you change? My change would be to keep Luigi and Mario together and kind of just let that be the driving force, and kind of let the chemistry between Mario and Peach kind of be the tie that binds through the entire story. So, and I don't know if that would necessarily be, a better plot line per se, but I do agree that it probably wouldn't have been anywhere near as safe as just Luigi gets kidnapped and,
Yeah.
bada bing, bada boom, that's his motivation, right? So I personally would have liked a different kind of story where we don't have to separate them for the majority of the story, but I get why it is that way. So that was like one of my big things, is like, these moments are so good, and like I'm crying, they love each other so much, but like, why? I mean, I get it, but it's just a rhetorical question.
It's a fair critique. I sort of have a similar critique in that same regard, kind of.
Yeah, what was yours?
I feel like just Luigi just wasn't in the movie that much. And like, after he gets kidnapped by Bowser, he just like disappears from the movie.
He's
And
dangling
he
over
he's
lava. For like
until
majority.
he just hangs out with the nihilistic Luma that is just everyone. Like, tag yourself.
Love that little
I'm
thing.
the nihilistic Luma going, "We're all going to die."
The sweet release of death. I'm surprised they let the Luma say that.
No, listen, it had to.
It's that.
The juxtaposition of the cute thing saying the darkest shit is way too funny. It is
Absolutely.
perfect comedy.
I love it. I love it.
No, I do feel like they were playing it a little bit safe, but they played this whole connection of they're together, but like you also rarely see Luigi, and I do feel like there could have been more there. I wish we were able to see more of Luigi doing cool things, because even at the end, yeah, he kind of does Mario Assault at the very end so he can get the Power Star, but like aside from that, he doesn't really do that much else.
It's more an
I was
accessory.
really hoping, like, I was really hoping he'd have like he and like the Luma, the Kongs, the Penguins would like break out and work together, and they meet.
Yeah,
in
and
the
that
middle.
didn't happen.
would've been
and
cool
I was
too, yeah.
disappointed with
I
that.
actually thought there was going to be a whole B plot of Luigi trying to escape.
I think
That's
that would have
exactly
been.
what
I
thought was
think
gonna
that would have
happen.
been cool. But yeah, I wish there was more of that. I also want to get to the other question too that you mentioned of
Yeah.
how this should have been reviewed, and I do feel like it's important to look at this movie not just as a movie, but as a adaptation of one of the most important video game franchises ever, because it's not a movie of just like, it's not it's not Trolls, it's not Frozen, it's not
Trolls.
like it's the other universal thing that people care about. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not Shrek, it's Mario. It's a franchise that has weight to it. And
Exactly.
I think if you don't go in understanding that context, like, not even looking at this as a fan, because I don't look at things as a fan these days. I look at it in a professional artist critique. Like I'm a person, like, and especially for adaptations, like, I am a person that made a 120 slide deck about why the Cats movie was a bad adaptation.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna zoom in for this with APA goddamn citations, okay? Like, I care about that shit.
All right. So
All right.
I have a counter. I know that's very
I'm not done.
admirable,
I'm not
but I do
done.
have a
I'm not
counterpoint. Okay. All right.
But adaptation is important because you may not know Cats, but the adaptation needs to serve Cats, because if you don't, you're not doing it right.
Right.
And the issue though is that with video games, if you go in with an expectation of video games as a whole, you're not going to get the same thing out of this movie as everyone else does. And I think that's what a lot of the reviews miss. Outlets like IGN, who have gaming outlets as part of it, I think because if you notice, a lot of the outlets that knew gaming or have gaming as part of their thing had more positive reviews than outlets that maybe don't, because like San Francisco Chronicle trashed the movie, but other outlets that have more gaming centric stuff or people who are aware of it had more favorable reviews. Like the lines were very split in the middle.
That's a good point. I never really made that distinction.
And I think it's important. And I think it's important for that because you can't look at this in the same light as other adaptations, because the video game industry is a different medium. This is not the same kind of one-to-one thing, and it's not going to translate the same way that The Last of Us did.
Yeah,
it's just not.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I understand what you're saying, and I disagree with most of it.
Wow.
Because you being faithful to the source material, that is the director and the producer's choice.
Right.
Okay? When a critic goes in to watch a movie, ideally, they should not have to do homework before they watch this movie.
No, and that's true, too. That's very true, too. Like, that's the other big thing. An adaptation needs to stand on its own. However, the other thing, too, is I think going into at least the knowledge of the video game genre, I think maybe necessarily gives it more context in terms of it as an adaptation. Because even if you don't get that context, I think there's still enough there as an adaptation to look into. But no, that's entirely correct. That's a rule of adaptation. If you need the source material to understand what's going on, then you didn't do a good enough job. No, I completely agree.
This movie needs to make sense to people who have never even heard of Mario before, because the idea is that it's trying to get people into Mario. Whether that person is 4 years old or 40 years old, it needs to make sense to everybody. And the counter I'll give you, how many people do you think saw Iron Man without reading the Iron Man comics?
Most of them.
I'm going to assume that's most people, okay?
Most of them.
But the movie still stands on its own, all right? That's the most important thing, and that is why critics are trashing it. Because you can't just say, well, it was faithful to Mario, so it was a good movie. Okay, but does it make sense to people who have never seen Mario before? That is what critics are approaching it at. They shouldn't have to do homework. They shouldn't have to play a Mario game. They should just have to sit down in the chair and give their opinion on what was presented in front of them, okay? And that is why they are not liking it. And I get it, and I disagree with a fair share of critics even beyond that, but I also acknowledge where they're coming from. So people who say, well, their opinion isn't the same because they don't play games. No, their opinion is just valid. If anything, it's a bit more critical because Nintendo is making this movie to try and appeal to a wider audience than just gamers. Yeah. So if those other people don't like it, their opinion is just as valid as people who do like games, whether it's faithful or not. It's nice if it's faithful. I love it when it's faithful, and I'm glad the Mario movie is faithful. It doesn't need to be in order to be a good movie, and if it's not faithful, it doesn't mean it's a bad movie either.
This is very interesting.
I completely agree. No. That's entirely a fair assessment.
Yeah, this is very interesting because I asked this question on purpose because a lot of this is basically just a matter of opinion and where you personally draw the line on critical versus just like a fan of the material, sort of an assessment of something, right? For a lot of the gaming sphere, which is where we all come from, usually if you run like a gaming outlet or something, you're not going to give Fire Emblem to the person that typically reviews, like Mario Kart, right? Or like Elden Ring. You're going to give it to the person who's a little bit more...
Unless they like those. But yeah.
Unless they like those, right? But you're usually going to give it to the person aligned and more prepared and kind of more qualified. I wouldn't use the word qualified, but I feel like I kind of gets the point across. To make an assessment of a thing, right? So I'm not to say that, somebody who's never seen Mario is invalid, and to be honest, I don't really think that person exists, but...
Exactly.
Fair enough,
I can't say that, me personally, I take their opinion a little bit less versus somebody from, like, IGN, right? And I'm not even saying that, like, I've read the review, but, like, from a gaming journalism perspective, I'm going to trust their opinion more on this movie because that's where this movie is aligned. Now, I do think it also does a really great job of appealing to general audiences. I think it's very safe, it's very consumable, and even people who don't know what Mario is, which, again, I don't think that person exists, but I think somebody could walk into that and walk out of it being like, that was pretty good, right? It was okay. They're not going to be, like, mind blown or anything. Now,
I think
Daniel...
Mario's also just a safe like franchise in general.
That's true. Daniel, as
Yeah.
somebody who works in, the gaming sphere too, what is your take on, these two questions? What did you not like versus where do you draw the line on film critic versus like as a fan?
I think a lot of it's already been said, honestly. But I think, yeah, what I liked about the movie, what I didn't like about the movie rather, is that the whole plot of Peach is not the damsel in distress came with the caveat of Luigi not being very present in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Brothers,
So-
this plural.
So my favorite parts of the movie were when they were interacting with each other. Whether it was at the beginning of the game, there was a scene with Baby Mario and Baby Luigi.
Oh,
at the
I forgot
hotel.
about that. Yes, that was so
Yeah.
precious.
Like,
And then
touched
that goes
me in the heart.
nowhere.
It's so cute.
Okay. Can
I
I get my turn real quick? That's the one scene out of the movie I would cut.
Wow.
I figured that was what
Okay.
you're talking
Wow.
about.
You listen to everyone call it cute, and then you say that?
Sorry.
Okay.
You brought it. I'm glad you guys liked it. You could take that scene out of the movie and it would make no difference.
No, that is
No,
absolutely.
I
it
guess,
was just
yeah.
a reference for cuteness.
Yes. Okay, sorry. I know I'm interrupting everybody. It's just you guys are
They're
saying
good
it while
points.
it's like hot.
It's fair.
So
Go on, Daniel.
where was I?
Baby Luigi.
Baby Mario, Baby
Like
Luigi.
the relationship scenes.
Yeah, they could have done more with that, obviously, but I mean, there's a whole thing with plot of where does the plot go if it's not Mario and Luigi trying to find each other, or if it's not about the princess capturing or getting captured, which I mean, it's not hard to build a story. Honestly, you can make something of that and still have. I would have sacrificed more references for more texture in the story in this movie. I mean, I love the references, of course. Like you're walking through Toad Town in the Mushroom Kingdom, you see all the little references from the little dragon coin from Super Mario World to the musical references to Mario 64.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to put less of that in, but give me more of a textured story of characters in this, like you could introduce more original characters. Technically, the blue spiny shell soldier was kind of that. Like, we never had a character like that before. They put him on the poster, even though he was sent to die.
On the poster?
Yes, he is.
that therefore makes him one of the most important characters.
My
Yeah, like
fa-
the poster that has like the group shot of all of them together. Yeah,
A little
he's on
small,
that one.
but he's
Oh my
in
God,
there.
that's-
my favorite
Wild.
assessment of that character is looking at him on the poster, standing next to like Peach, Bowser, and the main cast and everything, going like, what was his problem? He has no
Meanwhile,
reason to hate
meanwhile,
Mario this much.
They announced the voice actor for Spike, who's like barely in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this blue Koopa guy, he gets to be on the poster.
Yeah, and like has a major
true.
beef
Yeah,
with Mario for
because-
some reason.
Hey, you know what? Mario ate the last slice of pizza one time
Man,
and then spoiled The Sopranos for him.
I'm sure he's like that
You
dude
might
that
say
takes
if I
his
eat the
job way
last
too
slice of pizza, I'm
seriously.
gonna get blown up by a blue shell.
Yeah,
Is that what you're trying? Okay, I won't eat the last slice of pizza.
be careful, especially.
This is another thing that I don't think anybody brought up at all, but
Nope.
there was also an abundance of licensed music throughout this movie.
I was
Yeah.
going to,
And-
and I'm glad you are.
Boo.
There was also moments where there was like they had music, for example, like when they were going through the they were Mario karting through the Donkey Kong sequence to see Cranky Kong. Instead of having that song, there was like already an established track that apparently fit much better that they didn't use, and you
Yep.
have this entire legacy of music that is beloved, that people can call back to and reference, and you had the opportunity to just embellish this entire movie with it. And I know the music is like of the time, it's like all 80s music, so it's like of the time period that it's set in with Brooklyn and everything, but at the same time, like I would have loved to hear just more of the Mario sounds, more Mario music,
100%.
Donkey Kong as well, because there's just so much in there that just resonates with people. And of course it's that Hollywood tinge. As much as we have famous celebrity voice actors, we have to have that in there for licensing purposes for whatever the hell reason.
Yep.
But yeah, that was something that really bit at me. I was like, oh man, I had a feeling it was gonna happen, and
Yep.
I still went in knowing it was gonna take it down a little bit. But I mean, regardless, I still enjoyed those segments because yeah, I mean, and also just the fact that like I appreciate the art direction in where like characters will stretch and pull like animated cartoon characters would.
Oh yeah,
Instead of being too stiff like that. I love how expressive the characters would be during the movie. And I don't know, man. It's a lot of stuff that I could ramble on about, but but in general, I appreciate the what was put into it. Like the Shigeru Miyamoto and all Nintendo just oversaw a good amount of it, and it could have been very different. I don't even want to know what it would turn into if there wasn't so much oversight from them. Obviously that might have hindered it in some cases where, well, I mean, I don't go to Illumination when I think of grand stories in animation or anything, but I still think it's like give and take, honestly. But yeah.
I was very fearful of that licensed music. That's such a trait of Illumination, and I kind of went into it expecting that, and I gave it a chance. Like, some of them work better than others, but you're right. I mean, like, why even make that concession when you could just use Mario music anyway, and then I wouldn't even have to feel one way or the other about it. It would just fit better. There's already a song on the soundtrack for it, so like
it's like in the trailer, when the first trailer where all the penguins were coming out to fight, they have like actual orchestrated music for that, but then they play ba 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 instead.
So to play devil's advocate, because I agree with you, I think they should have used Mario's soundtrack through and through, especially since the songs were already made. The only reason I can think of that they used licensed music is that it works as an indirect way of advertisement. So, like, someone might be listening to Spotify and Take On Me comes on, and the picture for Take On Me is a picture of the Mario movie.
I guess.
So, like, oh, this song was in the Mario movie? Well, let me look up the scene on YouTube. Oh, it is in the Mario movie. Oh, well, that's kind of a fun scene. Let me sit down and watch the movie. That's the only reason I can think. Considering that the songs were already made and people have already kind of like unofficially synchronized to the songs to the scenes they were supposed to go to, it kind of baffles my mind. And I would have been a little more tolerating of it if it was a situation where maybe when Mario's still in Brooklyn, it uses licensed songs, but once he gets to the Mushroom Kingdom, it's all orchestral and magical and whatnot. Yeah. Kind of like not the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the one with Johnny Depp.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
There's no songs in that movie until he goes inside the factory, right? So I was thinking, like, maybe they could do that, where, okay, you want to play No Sleep Till Brooklyn? Like, that, fine. You want to play any other songs while he's still in Brooklyn? Fine.
Sure.
But once he's in the whimsical world of the Mushroom Kingdom, I like I Need a Hero. I like Take On Me, but you're picking like the most stereotypical song.
You're telling me that's what Peach listens to in her cruiser? She listens to Aha? Like, are you what?
It's an Illuminations thing. Like, could you imagine Disney Pixar doing that kind of thing? I think Disney Pixar does.
They're a little bit above that, I think.
Does like the immersive world building to a T, like perfectly, and Illuminations doesn't quite have that, or probably by intention, but like. They could, and it's kind of a bummer that they didn't.
They want it to be like Shrek. They want Mario to be associated with a licensed song, like Shrek is.
Then I saw her
face. I think that's what they want.
I hope there's a cut on Blu-ray that has the original tracks put in where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, that'd be so sick.
I'd love to hear that.
Somebody could do it for us, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That'll probably happen within like a week.
Yeah.
Going up. Yeah.
Does anybody know any video editors? I don't personally. If you guys, I mean,
I don't know.
Let's just.
Video in my life.
All right, Sam.
I've
wrap
edited a
us
video
up.
probably once.
Sam, wrap us up. What did you not like about the Mario movie versus film versus as a fan?
So I just mentioned this, but I'm a huge Disney Pixar fan. So
really,
like,
what you?
We all went for it.
We all did that.
In an ideal world, Disney Pixar would have been the ones to get the rights to the film for me. But I think there's an element of the really good, deep storytelling that Pixar manages to hit almost 100% of the time that like this movie didn't hit. And I don't know if there was ever going to be a possibility of having that kind of a deep storyline that resonates really well with adults and children, like in the way that Pixar does it. And I'm not saying that I have that storyline like even in mind, just it would have been kind of taking things to the next level if we had a Mario movie that was also a kind of movie that truly like touches your heart and soul. We didn't get that. So that's one thing that I would change. My biggest complaint is just the complaint that most people have, which was that it was so short and quick that it was just like go straight through every plot point as quickly as possible. There wasn't a
Yeah.
lot of time to dwell on quite a few things. Like preparing
Yeah.
for battle was like, oh god, okay, I guess we're there now. But I think again that just kind of comes back to its illumination style, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world. My other complaint is I don't like Mario calling Luigi Lou. I would take.
Oh.
Oh
I would-
yeah, that was weird.
I would have disallowed that because he did it a bunch. And I say, nope, Chris Pratt, you're gonna take that right out of
Just
there.
full name. Come on, we don't call you Mar.
I think, yeah, my primary complaint was that it had a bunch of hallmarks of Illumination movies that I could have done without. On the note of critics and stuff like that, personally, when I am not a big fan of numbered reviews for video games, for movies, for anything. Like, I will always look at the context of review. I want to know the reviewer. Does the reviewer like the things that I like? Then if they do, then I care. And if they don't, then I don't care what their opinion is. So I just think people need to remember to take reviews in context and like make sure that you're actually like reading from a reviewer that your opinion resonates with their opinion, because it is what it is. And I understand numbered reviews are always going to exist, and in aggregate they could impact the outcome of a movie. But for something like this, obviously fans popped off online after it came out, and I think it really, the message became, hey, if you like Mario even tangentially, you might find this to be a fun movie, so come on down. I'm not mad at reviewers for reviewing it poorly. I think perhaps if I wasn't a Nintendo fan and was a movie reviewer, I probably would have looked at it objectively in the same way, but I just think people should be wise when they read reviews is all.
100%. Pick a reviewer or a source that you feel aligned with. Like Game Explainer, good vibes, Gaming. I'm just saying. Okay,
Yeah.
anyway. So, it seems like a lot of us have some pretty, like, here and there nitpicks about certain elements of this movie, but overall, I still think we're all very generally positive about how it ended up coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Even with the negatives, I feel like I still have enough in me to make some concessions for certain things, like the story being fast or licensed music or whatever. At the end of the day, for me, it's not really a big deal, and it doesn't sound like it's the same for you guys either, which is great, because now that we've consumed this movie, and now that we've viewed it, last question of the day. What do you guys think comes next?
Can I
Metroid.
interject? Of course they're gonna make a Zelda movie. There are three things certain in life, all right? Death, taxes, and the fact that a Zelda movie
Oh
is
my
made.
God.
So please, for the love
was-
of humanity, please pick a more original answer. Everyone's always like, I
not
want
what
to
I
see him
was
do a
gonna
Zelda
say.
movie. Actually,
That's not what I was going to say either,
know,
Yoshiller,
'cause that's
okay?
what everyone's
You know what?
gonna
I'm
say.
a renegade here.
Please
I
pick something
don't
else.
want a Zelda movie.
I
You don't want a
I
Zelda
don't want a
movie.
Zelda movie
Depends.
right now. So
I
here's
want
the
to Zelda
thing.
anime,
Okay.
but
I think
Yeah.
Nintendo is still a little too protective of Zelda as an IP for them to do anything as a feature adaptation right now. If
Yeah.
we're going to do
What do you
anything,
mean they're too protective? Zelda also had a cartoon and they just licensed it out to Cadence of Hyrule, and I'm pretty sure it's had crossovers with Monster Hunter.
Yep.
Thanks.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
However,
it did? I didn't know that.
I don't know if I would trust any American company to handle that. I wouldn't trust it with Illumination.
oh god,
but
Zelda Illumination. Oh.
you know who
Yikes.
I would
Oh,
trust
no.
it with that? Who's the
That's
company that
not-
did Your Name? Or the company that,
is,
did Mary and the Witch's Flower?
Makoto Shinkai.
Get
Yes,
a
I'm
Zelda
saying
movie
anime.
from them in an anime style would work. My option for what I want as an adaptation next, though, I want a Metroid movie. I want full Alien Isolation level horror Metroid sci-fi movie.
Who would you cast as Samus?
I'd watch it.
I
Other than
Brie
Amanda.
Brie Larson's
Sam and
the
I
one
were
who's
thinking
been
the same
vocal
thing.
Brie
about it.
Larson is the one that's the most vocal about it, and I actually think Brie Larson would do a great job because Brie Larson could do all her own stunts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
I think Brie Larson would be a good choice for that. But there's also, especially because Fusion and Dread get into that level of horror elements to it, imagine a Metroid Fusion adaptation with jump scares with SAX. That would be terrifying.
Scary.
I want
Is
to
this-
see it. Like, give it to
I can't watch scary
Monkey
movies.
Paw. Give it to Monkey Paw. Give it to, like, we'll see how FNAF goes, but maybe Blumhouse.
Give it to
can give it a
Blumhouse,
shot.
Lamau.
Or give it to someone, but I think Metroid needs to... I would love to see a Metroid adaptation that leans into the horror parts of it, because I think it could be super cool.
Did you say A24 at one point?
Oh,
No, but A24 would be really cool. I would love to see an art house Metroid. Actually, you know what? A24, get on this. Because A24
I can
would
already
do a
see the
very-
trailer in my head. It like opens up on
it would be
you know
cool.
Zevis or whatever, and then there's like some children's song playing, but it's sang in some like weird maniacal way, and then
Yeah.
do you recognize that girl? She's not from here. And then it's
Or-
just like
or
this
not
montage
even
that's so
that, and
predictable.
it-
There's
It's
every
a
A24 trailer is the
Metroid
same.
theme.
And it is also, but also people are like, you know, because Samus doesn't talk very much in
Yeah.
Metroid. However, there are movies that that have already shown that you can technically not really do a lot of dialogue and still make it work. Hush from Mike Flanagan and A Quiet Place, Part 1 at the very least. Haven't seen
Ooh,
Part
Quiet
2.
Place was good.
Are
Wall-E.
great example. Wall-E.
Wally.
Wall-E is scary. Get out of here, Daniel.
Lex, what I was gonna say was if they really wanted to, they could kind of do it like Samurai Jack style, where she's silent, but
Oh.
she has like 1 or 2 scenes where she like talks to herself, like she sits down and kind of has
And
like
But
does
there
her,
are
like,
also
That's true.
stuff where like
in-depth
she does
things.
also speak in Dread. Like there's that whole
That's true.
cutscene where like she's
That one
talking to
line.
the Chozo, where like she does speak, and like I mean, say what she want about the writing of Metroid Other M, but like there are
She's a
avenues
person.
here.
No, she talks.
Like
Yeah.
there are
English,
avenues. There
Yeah,
are
she-
avenues in this franchise to make something work in a horror-esque thing, and I would love to see someone like full send it and go for it. And I feel like with Metroid, now that like Metroid's having a renaissance right now, I feel like, and because Dread kind of eases on that little bit of horror, I would like to see Nintendo give someone the go-ahead to make it kind of scary. I think it would be cool.
That
And
would
it
be
would
cool.
be different than anything else because it is one of the darker franchises that Nintendo has in their main property, because their big three are Metroid, Zelda, and Mario. In my
Well, Lex's answer is Metroid. What about you, Daniel? What would you want to see next?
Because yeah, one of the main series, I mean, one of the main pulls of Metroid is that whole like darker feel to it. Metroid Prime, like the first part of that, it's a horror game for I mean for me it was way back then.
It's still
It was scary to go through the Forbidden
Sam
Orpheum.
is like, I'm still scared.
I just did it a couple weeks ago. It was scary.
Yeah, everyone's finding out that now with remastered.
Oh,
but
Prime, yeah,
I
Prime is
I'd love,
freaky.
and then you have like, I mean that's part of the core of Metroid Fusion, and she does have those monologues when you're going through section to section, like she's talking to herself or to was that Adam as well that she's talking
Adam.
to back and forth? Yeah. So that definitely could, I think you could see that work. It'd be cool to see, I mean, basic movie trope. It would be her origin story as well, because you don't ever really see her interacting with the Chozo, growing up, training with said Chozo, because that would have to be a part of it. The whole movie probably wouldn't be just like the
Act
whole
2 would be-
exploration,
Act
horror
2 would be the
exploration.
game.
You would probably have to start the movie like Bambi style, where you know Samus is with her parents.
Yeah, the
Wow.
That's exactly
and then-
how it
and
would
then
have
re-
to work, because in Act 2 would be actually going into Zebus and entering game territory.
Oh God.
Remember that part when Ridley came out with a shotgun and just shot his parents?
Oh
together?
yeah, I remember that.
Bam, bam.
Oh yeah.
Just like Bambi.
All yellered them, took them out backyard.
Oh no.
Effing chats.
So yours would be Metroid
But-
2, Daniel?
I was just continuing that thought, but
Oh,
I don't even know.
Yeah. What do you actually?
What do you
want,
actually
though?
want? If you were in charge.
Metroid would be cool, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can I offer a separate
That's
offer
fine.
as well?
All right.
Because like, I mean, animated feature film Zelda would be. I mean, Zelda is like their number 2. That's the one that they would probably latch onto next. But
Yeah.
the way that they handle
Of
it
course
would be
they're
a
making
lot
a
more.
Zelda movie. Like
This guy.
It's so obvious.
Because like it just depends on how they handle it more so than like you could give
Right.
Mario to pretty much anyone because it's an everybody franchise. Anyone can go in and watch that
True.
that show. But there's a more niche audience, not niche, but there's a more specified audience
Yeah.
for Zelda, for
Lord of the Rings
Metroid.
fans,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
which are a
More or
big
less,
group of
yeah.
people.
Yeah,
But-
so it starts out in New Zealand, and then Link accidentally goes down a pipe. And
Can
Mario's
you not be in
viral.
charge at all? Thanks.
You know what? You know what?
I'm sorry.
Can we not give you a shoulder power?
Can I add another quick idea into this mix of other adaptations? Earthbound,
All right, what's
but
up?
with the Stranger Things elements, because Earthbound is a bunch of kids fighting evil, and we've seen examples of Stranger Things in it where that works. But
I've
also
never played
with
I'm
Earthbound.
gonna take a
A24.
shot in the
I'd
dark
want
and
to
say
see-
Nintendo is not interested in making an Earthbound.
Oh,
movie or
there is.
anything.
There is
She gets out to be
no
toys and be like,
fucking
nah.
Let me be very
Earthbound
clear.
should be stop motion.
Let me be very clear. There
I'm
is
not
no
even kidding
shot.
you. If they make an
Ooh.
Earthbound movie, it should probably just be stop
Yeah.
motion. It doesn't need to be like full.
That could be
But I
cool.
think it could be
That'd
cool
be-
even
that'd
as
be
a
nice.
live action. There's no shot of it happening, but I would love to see it.
Well, because if it's stop motion, when they do the final fight, I'm trying not to get into too much spoiler territory, but they could do the same thing that Lego Movie does, where like all of a sudden it becomes live action or something.
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah,
idea
see
actually.
I like that.
Yeah,
Okay. I've never played
here
it, so I
wishing-
don't know what you're referencing.
Sam,
but...
what's yours?
it's okay.
I'm like lowballing it here and hoping I see like Ness on a Runaway 5 cart in Mario Kart and on a basic
This
bicycle.
guy.
Like the most average bicycle ever. This is the bike when you ride for like 1 minute.
Right.
Ay,
yeah.
ay, ay.
Sam, what do you got?
Sam. Sam.
So I think I didn't think big enough or something, but my brain, I don't think Nintendo you're gonna see anything non-Mario movie from them for a while. I think
Yeah.
we're getting a Mario movie sequel immediately. Like that's what's happening.
What about Donkey
Oh,
Kong?
that's I feel like
What
been
about Donkey
confirmed.
Kong?
It might be It might be tangentially
Okay,
Mario
yeah.
movie, but I
Yeah.
think that they're
Right.
just instantly going to be working to build out the Mario movie universe at this point.
Okay.
My guess is that they're going to introduce Bowser Jr. next. I think I'm going off of the current Mario. What's a good way to word it? The current Mario Universal franchise.
Canon?
And Bowser Jr.
Okay.
plays a big part in Super Nintendo World
park,
and
yeah.
Universal in both
Yeah.
parks, and they will in Orlando also. And my inclination is that where they're going to go from this is Bowser Jr. is going to exist. There's going to be a plot point in which Bowser comes back to power, but it doesn't even matter because there's a new villain involved. But even if it's not something like Bowser Jr. and Isle Delfino or whatever the next thing is, even if it's not, there are so many different things and enemies. You could go Wario route, you could go Waluigi route, you could go.
Okay.
Go to
You could have like
Sasha-land.
a King
Sarasa
Bob
Land.
is in charge. I don't know. You could do a ton of things. I think they're just going to do that. Like, I mean, there could be a Luigi's Mansion movie. There could be a Donkey Kong movie.
Okay, Luigi's
Ugh.
Mansion movie would also be cool because that would also be scary.
Yeah.
I want
Sam-
a kind of
That's
like
true. That's my
mid-scary
That'd be
Luigi's
fun.
Mansion.
Oh, you don't know what
They
you've
could go
unleashed,
to
Sam.
space. They could go to do Galaxy.
You don't
I
know
mean,
what you've
Galaxy didn't get
unleashed, Sam. I
That's my
have
take.
I have a similar thought to you, and it's funny because we were talking about this the other day, but we decided that we were going to save it for today. Okay,
Yeah.
Spicy.
I wish I had a whiteboard, but I don't. But here,
With all
for
Just
the-
everyone
right on
listening,
Your wall.
for there's no space. Okay, so anyway,
Right on the Pokemon
You don't need that
poster.
Ruby Sapphire poster.
I'll pretend like I have one. Okay, so
Put
for
it
everybody
in
listening,
editing.
for everybody here right now in this call, here is my almost like 90% certain big brain galaxy in the like 5-head, just like
Galaxy?
all of the
Super Mario
words
Galaxy?
theory as to what this next movie is going to be with proof. Okay.
With
Okay.
proof.
Oh boy.
In
This
the
is
Mario
8
movie,
hours.
Here we go.
in the Mario movie, I went in already just like, okay, cool. I'm so excited for the Mario movie. But like we all know, Nintendo Pictures is a thing that's been established, and there will be more movies eventually. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. So I was going on into it thinking like, okay, well, I like the story. It's great. It feels safe or whatever. But this feels like a good first attempt, and whatever comes next will be like the next, leap forward as far as what Nintendo is capable of in terms of telling a story in the form of a movie. I had this thought in my head while I was watching, right? So there are 4 instances that reinforce my silly little brain into thinking what I'm thinking, and I feel like I'm on the cusp of something. Okay, so starting off, right? There's this
Okay.
scene, we all know what it is, where Peach and Toad and Mario are all sitting in a field of fire flowers, and then they kind of like introduce that power up, and she's kind of talking to him, and basically it's like the motivating force of the movie is like showing him that he never knows when to quit, and then blah blah blah. That's irrelevant. But in this monologue, Peach talks about how I can't even remember what the point of the conversation is exactly at this point. But she looks up into the sky and she mentions
There's a
how
lot of worlds
there,
out there.
she doesn't even say worlds. She says there's a
Whatever.
lot of unexplored galaxies specifically. To which I said, okay, cool. Might be non-consequential, but whatever.
The context actually helps to your idea, which I think it is. Which
Tell me, yeah.
Mario suggests that maybe she's from his world, and her response is
Okay.
she doesn't even acknowledge what he says. She just looks up at the sky and says, "Well, there's a lot of galaxies. There's a whole universe out there with a whole lot of galaxies."
Sweet. I'm glad you said that because that helps. Number 2.
Yes.
Number 2. This isn't like a specific instance or anything because it happens multiple times, but the presence of a Luma makes me very curious
Came from
because
somewhere.
the Luma has to come from somewhere, like Sam said, right? Which, obviously is Rosalina in some point, right? Does she exist in this universe? I haven't seen her yet, but, there's no way they're going to come up with some other origin as to where these Lumas come from. They come from space. They come from Rosalina and, like, her being the mother of them. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they just wrote this character just to be, like, the funny nihilistic one that's stuck in jail with Luigi. Okay, maybe that's what it is, and maybe it has nothing else to do with it. But then here I am, like, watching the credits going like, oh, this is great. Oh, that was such a good movie, whatever. You know what catches my ear? Gusty Garden Galaxy is not only in the outro medley, but it is the last song in the outro medley, which, again, I was just thinking, like, okay, well, maybe this is just, like, a random medley of Mario movies and Galaxy just so happens to be the last one. Okay. But then, at the very end of this movie, there's an end credit scene in which there's a Yoshi egg that is green, specifically, that is hatching. You don't see him come out, but, like, it is hatching. And, like, after watching all of this put together, I'm thinking, Peach is talking about galaxies. There's a Luma. Gusty Garden Galaxy was the last song leading into Yoshi, which Yoshi is the big part of Super Mario Galaxy 2. That's like the big mechanic that gets added to Mario Galaxy 2 as a game. So here I was thinking, like, well, separately, these would all be pretty non-consequential, but all of these put together for, like, I don't know, something feels suspicious here. So my theory is that, I feel like this is all very just a good setup for what will eventually become Mario traveling to space and meeting Walter Rosalina or something, and then, like, maybe you could throw Bowser Jr. in space. I don't even know. Yeah, there's a lot of things you could do because it's literally space. So those are my 4 examples. My prediction is that we'll get a Galaxy movie. There you go.
This is Pepe Sylvia energy. that just came.
Oh, good.
Pepe,
It's early day energy. Perfect.
Shit, you're right. It's so.
That's literally me, but with the Galaxy movie.
We
Just
cut
pointing
to
at...
the Always Sunny title card.
See, if you connect the Yoshi to the Galaxy wording, and then you just, like, there's a Luma over here.
Alec in editing, could you just put a title card of just the Always Sunny where it's just Alec explains spoils
Yes.
Mario Galaxy
It's
2?
Luigi.
This
Yeah.
isn't the
Instead.
first time that I've had a theory like this, and I can go on my server and somebody edited my face onto that scene, so I could just pull
Of course.
that.
No,
But,
it's exactly. No, I mean, I think it's good because that's one of the movies that was probably the least represented. Like one of the least represented, and no one talks about too.
Give me more Rosalina. Give me more.
I saw.
Yeah,
Galaxy.
Tris, what do you think?
I definitely think Galaxy, like, whether it's the main adaptation or just, like, the direction for it to go next, I think makes the most sense because it allows them to explore their world beyond what we saw on Peach's world map.
Yeah.
It allows them to explore beyond the local kingdoms that they're used to. And you can adapt multiple stories into that. You could have, I don't know, you can adapt Super Mario Land 1 into that. Daisy gets kidnapped by an alien. Okay, make it someone Peach knows that gets kidnapped by an alien taken into space. Oh,
yeah.
We should probably go help them. And then they run into Rosalina and others. They have Bowser trapped in a bird cage in their castle. You can
All someone
have
has to do.
some sort
That's
of, like,
right, yeah.
intergalactic threat. I'm not saying they're gonna go Shroobs and Partners in Time route, but
Lamau.
you could bring in an intergalactic threat that's big enough that they even need to let Bowser out to have
that's true.
an uneasy alliance to get him to work with them, only for him to, betray them halfway through because, oh wait, I can dominate the galaxy out here, something like
Yes.
that. Like there's
Yes.
a lot of different games that they can pull from to make a Galaxy adventure, while still the main premise, far more encompassing than just Mario Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's true.
I definitely think for specifically a Mario movie sequel, I do think that would be the next step for it.
I knew I had you on for a reason.
I'm gonna
Thank
say
you for that. Thank you for that.
The more boring, basic idea would be. I thought this could lead more into a Super Mario World situation, since that's where you actually see Yoshi first introduced, and a possibility that maybe it's the Koopalings that break Bowser out.
Oh my God, I would
that birdcage
cry, not good
and bring them
tears,
back.
to see the Koopa
And
kids
they'll-
on screen.
They'll.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them either, but I'm trying to be realistic, despite how sad it is. That's just the real world, Alec. I'm sorry. And,
What the heck, Daniel?
and seeing that, because like I mean they could introduce Bowser. I would much rather they do Bowser Jr. than all the Koopalings instead. But I'm
thank
just
My
Jesus.
trying to read this.
concern though with Bowser Jr. is they have to be a bit more direct in his origins. For what they're doing, because they can't. do the
Miyamoto
Mama
just comes
Peach
into the
scenario.
movie.
Yeah, right. They can't do the Mama Peach setup with how they've written Peach and Bowser in this one. They really can't write it that way.
They could-
Also,
I don't
you
know.
have to have an explanation for why his son wasn't invited to the wedding. Sure, Mario Odyssey didn't do that
No,
either.
They just
but
find him somewhere, and then, or like I don't. How is he hatched? I don't know.
He's a trash goblin that they just find in the dumpster.
Well, like, I don't know, but if somehow I've been thinking about this a lot, partially because
yeah,
here's the other thing is Yoshi also plays a pretty prominent role in Sunshine. Not that I'm saying that we're just gonna get Sunshine the movie, and to be honest, I don't think we're gonna get any game the movie. I think it's going to be
No.
Yeah, it'll be inspired by,
conglomeration
at the very most.
of bits and pieces from games, but if Bowser Jr. appears from somewhere, like he's never met Bowser before, and then he goes, "Oh, like you're my daddy," and let's just assume that Bowser's free. I don't know how free, whatever.
I don't know
you're
how
my
I feel
daddy.
about that.
And Bowser goes, yeah, and you have a mommy too, and look, like we're gonna go get her, and then you just have Sunshine, like.
okay.
Lamau.
Pretty much. It won't take too hard to
I think you can
weave that together.
You can make
Wow.
it make
To
it
free
work.
Bowser out, I foresee two scenarios. One, I mean, all he has to do is hurt himself, right, and he'll regain his normal size.
Okay.
But two, I don't think they're actually going to do this, but if they wanted to incorporate Wario and Waluigi, I could foresee them also being people from Brooklyn that are jealous of Mario and Luigi's success. And they're like, well, what did Mario and Luigi do? They went underground, they went into a pipe, and what happened? And then they
go
go down,
investigate.
Yeah.
and then Bowser's like, hey, come here. You help me, I help you. type
What
of deal,
the?
right? So they have it set up to do a Donkey Kong movie. Pauline is confirmed to be the mayor of Brooklyn. Donkey Kong has access to Brooklyn. And if they wanted to do the same thing that they did with the Mario movie where they pull from multiple sources, I could see it starting out with Donkey Kong kidnaps Pauline for one reason or another. Maybe he's trying to appeal to King K. Rool, who's voiced by Michael Keaton or something. All right?
What the?
And I just picked an actor out of thin air, okay? And, you know, then it turns into an all-out war, and Donkey Kong gets help from Diddy Kong and Dixie and Chunky and whatever,
Okay.
all right? If they want to do a Donkey Kong movie, they absolutely could.
Interesting.
The beats are there. What I want, I would love a Punch-Out movie, and I actually think it would lend itself well to an hour, 30-minute format. You start with a kid who's maybe he's like a bully in school, he's lost, whatever, and then a retired Doc Lewis finds him and trains him. Doc
yes.
Lewis. I was thinking Doc Lewis could be played by Steve Harvey, okay? I was thinking it would be so perfect. Because
Oh my
Steve
God.
Harvey is a comedian, but he can also do like, you know, like an angry voice, like, what do you think you're doing?
Hey, Yoshiller.
You know, like, yeah, what's up?
Counterpoint to that. How do you make
Okay.
a Punch-Out movie nowadays without making it go too deep into either Rocky or Creed?
Oh, it's easy. Because Rocky is always about, like, he's preparing for a title fight, right? Little Mac it's just telling, like, how he rises to the top.
Isn't Creed
so obviously,
also
like,
that
you
too?
show him, like, okay, but you show Little Mac, you're like, you know, you make him fight Glass Joe, and he knocks him out immediately, and he goes, oh, you know, this is easy, and then he fights Von Kaiser or whatever, and then he gets his butt kicked by King Hippo, right? Like, you stop, you don't make it about one specific fight, you just show, like, his growth, and you condense it into an hour, 30-minute, or 2-hour movie. I would love Punch-Out. It obviously there's a lot of references in the Mario movie,
Yeah.
which kind of leads me to believe that they kind of want to do it too. But that also could just be the fact that Little Mac lives in New York. He's the Bruiser from the Bronx, so it's just easy to throw references in there. But I think they could. And if they don't want to do Punch-Out, and if they want to shine the spotlight on a franchise that isn't super popular, I don't think it would lend itself well to a movie. I think it would lend itself better to like a television show format. If they want to do F-Zero,
Oh my gosh.
I would be so in.
See,
The new
F-Zero
Fast and
See,
the
I brought
Furious.
it full circle.
Wait, what if
Yeah.
like Fast and the Furious evolves into F-Zero?
I don't want it to be like
What
Fast
if
and
it
Furious.
evolves
I would rather it be
over
like
the
Speed
course
Racer.
of like the next
I
10
don't want it to be like Fast and
movies,
Furious.
just little by little, it like
Yeah.
turns into F-Zero.
I mean, I would
Yeah.
take it. I would also say
I don't think it needs to be a connected universe. By the way, I don't think we need
No.
an NCU.
No.
I think we just need
it,
Nintendo
it
films,
doesn't
though.
make sense to do an NCU because how do you explain like I also would love to see Star Fox. That'd be cool.
Ooh.
That'd be a whole
Pun-
puppet movie.
It's
Or
gotta be.
Stop motion.
Okay,
That,
so you
or
want the Jim
an-
Henson Studios
that,
to do
or
it?
The anime, like how the how
Star
that-
Fox Zero.
Yeah, for how like Star Fox Zero had it. 'Cause I actually liked that. Or go
was very well
even more into the deeper on the anime side, like what a Miyazaki film looks like sometimes. Or going
But,
in that direction.
Oh, dude,
what,
have you?
what I was saying earlier, though, Earthbound actually does lend itself well to a movie or potentially television show format, but I genuinely think that should probably be... Animated would obviously be awesome, but I think it would be really cool if it was stop motion, if they wanted to experiment. If there was any other medium that I think could fit for a Nintendo movie besides hand-drawn, it's stop motion specifically for Earthbound.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, if you want to do live action, like, yeah, Metroid's probably the best candidate for that. Or if you want...
Kid Icarus, if they do
They could-
Kid Icarus in the way that like Smash reveal was for Palutena,
Oh yeah.
Give
me more of that.
I'm trying to
Is
think,
an
like, a live action they should probably stay away from. But if one day, if they want to do, like, a Xenoblade movie, it probably could
It'd
be
have
live
to be
action.
like
No.
a trilogy just for the first.
Yeah.
That's
Such
a
a
Peter
long
Jackson
story.
There's no way.
trilogy that I do not want.
I would
No.
watch it. I
I'm
don't think
sorry,
it would do
Peyton,
well, but
no.
I would enjoy it.
I will
Yeah,
give them
I
$12
don't.
towards this project. The cost of my movie
That's
ticket.
kind of why I was, like, hesitant to say it. But it's like, if there is another one that lends itself to live action, Xenoblade probably is the biggest
Xenoblade would
candidate.
also
That
lend
or
itself to
Metroid.
a long format anime.
That's true.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Xenoblade could get the
Absolutely.
Naruto treatment, and
Xenoblade.
it would run for years.
It would.
Be a long.
Oh yeah. Fire Emblem.
I haven't given mine if I can go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tris.
go.
Oh yeah.
I think so. I'm with Yoshiller on the fact that I think there's definitely like the groundwork laid to do Donkey Kong, especially since the Super Nintendo one in Japan is getting the Donkey Kong expansion. So I
True.
think Donkey Kong is probably what they're gonna want to lean heavily into next. They already have a lot of those characters established in the Mario movie. Now they can expand upon them and do a lot more in that world. I don't know if it would take place before the Mario movie or if it'd be something after, but I think there's a lot there they could do. But in terms of what I would want, or rather what I think would like explode really well in popularity, I don't know if it would be a show or a movie or anything, but anything Splatoon would be huge, I think.
But like, what would
I
you
think-
do? I mean, there's probably a lot.
An
but-
Inkopolis
I-
or an Inkling moves to Inkopolis.
It
It would
a
have
story
to be
mode.
an anime.
It would have to be Splatoon lore.
It had to be an anime?
But it would
I
have
think
to
it
be
would
a
have to be an
lore.
anime.
I think. I think it would have. I don't think you could dive into.
No.
This is the
You
current
do one of
Splatoon
two routes.
World.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think it has to be lore. I think you do one of two routes. It's either Inkling moves to Inkopolis and starts competing in Turf Wars, and you have like a tournament-style anime.
Okay.
Or you literally adapt the story, which is,
The story,
I don't know,
yeah.
like you do Splatoon 2, and Marie is like the leading role, and Callie's kidnapped. or
You'd have to
whatever.
fuse both because
Or-
people know
yeah.
Splatoon for the multiplayer. I don't think
Yeah.
you can have
Right.
that without
Yeah.
it.
You
So
can mix both with it. I feel like it makes sense in an anime episodic series than a 90-minute to 2-hour feature film.
Yeah.
Either
Well,
anime
if it's a film, then it
or-
has to be the single player
Yeah.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think it caters more to what it is as a animated like anime series. It feels
Yeah, I-
episodic.
I bring this up because like you look at like what Nintendo really considers its biggest series right now. You have Mario and Zelda, obviously, but the two that get the most after that in terms of like overall presence lately are
Splatoon and
Animal
Animal
Crossing and
Crossing.
Splatoon. So I feel like Splatoon would be the one they would want to jump on more to adapt into something before Animal Crossing.
Well, that's because
So-
Animal Crossing also doesn't really have anything really to
Yeah.
go Animal Crossing is a slice of life kind of show with no storyline stakes at all. You'd have to integrate it, which
They
doesn't
already
make
made
sense.
an animated movie about that too.
Yeah,
True.
there was an old animated movie.
Adorable.
Was there?
Yeah,
There was.
It's Japanese only,
Very
but you can you can
All
watch
right,
it.
What was
all right.
It's very
if
wholesome.
you want to really launch the NCU, you start it with Animal Crossing, and the island is under attack. By
Oh my
something.
God.
Only like
Wait a
Isabelle
minute.
is able
We
to.
haven't even talked about Kirby. Kirby has a
Oh,
manga.
have
Kirby!
We have.
That would be a good
Because
one.
I think we
Kirby.
steered away from Kirby and Pokemon because they're like not 100% owned by Nintendo.
Well,
or whatever.
Pokemon they don't need to worry about because Pokemon's already in that route because they've already done movie
Detective
adaptations.
Pikachu.
And
Right.
I think
Yeah.
I think we need to establish at this point that Pokemon, while it is Nintendo, is their own company. And I
Yeah.
think that needs to stand on its own. And because they've already dabbled in this space, they're a different conversation entirely. Whereas isn't HAL technically and like Kirby, they're not second party. They're still part of Nintendo. It may not be EPD.
I
but
think they
that's-
are second party. Like I think they
But they're
are
still roped
half
in.
owned by Nintendo.
I think
Yeah.
that's enough that I think that they are able to kind of claim it as them. I don't know how that.
It means they're allowed to go off and do their own thing though too.
Right,
Yeah.
and they should be.
Yeah.
However, I think I don't know how the legal ramifications of Kirby, but like we also have gotten Kirby stuff before because we had the animated show, which was good.
Yep.
Right back at you.
Kirby
And
was
then
better
More
there
than
was a
animated.
short on the 3DS eShop for the longest time too.
That's right.
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying if you want to do the NCU and you want to incorporate Animal Crossing, it has to start with the island being under attack by
I
Azeroth or
don't want
something.
that.
Isabelle escapes and she seeks help from
hate it.
Mario.
I
don't like
don't
it.
want that, Yoshiller.
That's
You keep
just the
saying that like
Smash
someone's
Brothers-
suggesting it, but nobody wants that.
That's just the. Smash,
That's how you do the NCU, baby.
Stop it.
Smash
Animal
Brothers.
Crossing is under
Oh
attack.
my god.
Okay, wait, real quick. What? This is like left field, but something we haven't mentioned.
Yeah.
There's also the option. I'm just gonna put it out there that they do
Okay.
a true. It could be a docudrama or just a documentary, but I think that there's a lot of interesting things about Nintendo's history and their current operating procedures and game development in
true.
general that
Yeah.
could actually be amazing. And partially, I'm talking about this because we've had a lot of movies like this coming out. There's like one right now about the Air Jordans. That's
Oh, you're
getting,
talking
like,
like a
insane
documentary
reviews.
style.
well, yeah. I'm saying
As long-
it could
Like
be
a
a
biopic.
documentary. It could be a docudrama. It could be
I
biopic.
feel
As
like
long as
Nintendo
it's
would
not
be-
as
Sam,
blown out as
Sam,
Tetris is.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Sam, I think you know this. That's been pitched to Nintendo several times, and they've always shut
Well,
it down.
now
And the
maybe.
only person, well,
But
like
now.
Kit and Krista have talked about how
Yeah.
they've pitched that, and Nintendo always says no. And the only developer at Nintendo who's like willing to talk about that stuff is Sakurai.
Yeah.
got a YouTube
So
channel.
Nintendo otherwise keeps it
And,
very close
and
to
to
the
be
heart,
honest, I don't
so.
think it's ever going to happen. But
No, and I don't think it
like
needs
an Iwata biopic though would be like probably amazing.
Ooh.
If
That'd be
somebody good was
fantastic.
making it,
Yeah.
it would probably be really, really
Yeah.
good. But then
Yeah.
you run up against the fact that in Japan, a lot of those kinds of things are more private, the personal lives that they probably aren't going to want to share in a movie for Americans or in a movie in general. That could be a big hit. Like I don't think it's ever going to happen. But we haven't talked about kind of the real life side of Nintendo. Could always have a really good story to it also.
Right.
I think so. That'd be
I
really
would
cool.
love to see something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
It could be
just
about
don't-
Reggie.
Oh my god, is it just
Lot
have to
of
bring out the
factors in there
frame
that
photo?
I don't see Nintendo complying with.
They're just so secretive with this stuff.
I just
know.
love that you have that photo.
I also
I don't
have
know what else to say.
this
It's
is
just
for
so funny.
anybody watching with video. A sticker.
I
You have
Um,
the worst era of Robert
I have
Pattinson when
questions.
the best area
I
is-
don't know.
I don't have questions because
Hot
that's on
Topic
brand
gave
for
it to me
Sam.
for free. Hot Topic was like, here
Why
you
not?
got this
But
free
why-
bag. I was
Man.
like, okay.
I don't
Okay,
have
but
anything
why
interesting on my
that
desk.
And not like the hot boy emo Batman that we got in the Batman. Because
I
let's be
don't.
clear,
You gotta ask Hot
I
Topic.
had-
man. I don't know.
I got listen, edgy emo
Hey.
Batman in that movie. I was kind of into that.
I mean, I think Robert Pattinson's a good-looking guy. I'm not gonna lie, but
He's foxy.
he
I
was
like
not a
him.
good-looking guy in Twilight because they put weird.
No.
Okay.
Nobody
makeup
was
all
good looking
over
in
him.
Twilight.
Just looking at all the stuff on my
It does.
desk
It's
now.
not making any
Yo,
music.
wait, play that automaton.
It's out of battery. It's sad.
Oh, for
Aw.
God's
Bad
sake!
automaton.
I feel robbed.
I know. I have these though.
You need to put it in the credits of just you playing.
Look
What?
at this.
It's out of.
I can't tell what that is.
I can't
Is
see
that a
it.
Jirachi?
There you go.
Oh,
Grookey.
Grookey.
printed up photos.
Grookey.
Part of the Instax Mini. This is my Pokemon Snap photos
I have
back in
one
the
of
day.
those.
Are we at the show and tell segment now? Or is
Yeah, I
it-
guess we're back to that.
No, we don't have to
Another
show anything.
object in my
I don't wanna.
Wait, Alec, what would you do if I stood up to grab another object and I was just in my underwear? I was like, hang on, let me see what else I got.
Censored. Censored that
Like,
one.
whoa,
thought.
whoa, whoa!
To do a show and tell. This has been a 3-hour recording.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's 10:12
Uh.
p.m. We started this at 7.
We're having a great time.
Unless you're on the East Coast, then
I'm
it's
hungry,
1:12
Alec.
a.m.
It is indeed.
You want
past
some of
1 in the
my
morning here, yeah.
bowl
I
of
got stuff to
noodles?
share.
All right. Well, anyway.
No, thank you. It's all you.
Visual jokes for the audience.
Anything else that we have to add to the Mario movie before we wrap up? Favorite Easter eggs? Anything like that? Or
I have one last little thing to note.
all right.
Can we imagine how with how successful this movie's been? It hasn't even hit Japan yet.
That is
Wait,
scary.
what?
Or China, right?
It
It's
doesn't
not
come out in
in
Japan
China
until the
here.
end of the month.
Which
Yeah.
is weird.
Wait, but it's not in China either, right?
How?
Right now?
I don't think it is. No.
It's kind of blasphemous.
So that, yeah, whenever a movie gets released to China, just like double its current sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I think this will reach $1 billion. Like we're more than halfway there.
Is
Yeah.
this
So-
gonna kick? Is this gonna make James Cameron angry? I hope
Yes.
it
The
does.
The first film to reach $1
hope so.
million dollars.
A Marillion? Is that what you said?
Honestly,
Oh my
That's
God.
the Twitter meme.
I
yes.
just need to note that because that's actually a really big deal and it didn't come up at all. So
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's,
and,
that's
and it's a really, like, I think a lot of the internet gets it, but a lot of the internet doesn't quite understand like how big of a deal it is. And I'm so glad it's doing.
If you guys
well
fly to
financially.
LA,
me too.
if you guys fly to LA, there's advertisements for it everywhere.
I will.
LAX.
Yeah.
It's like you will most likely not find an advertisement for anything besides a lawyer unless you see like you're gonna see Mario movie everywhere.
Well, I'm
Mario
flying
movie
into
and
LA
lawyers.
very soon for graduation, so I will keep y'all posted on that then.
I expect
everywhere.
photos.
It's all
Into
over the place.
LAX.
I expect photos.
I will. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me today for this month's episode. I appreciate it very, very much. It's been a long discussion, but you know, I feel like
Mario
we had a
movie.
good time. Mario movie. I'm gonna do my best to make sure that this podcast is run on a monthly basis. It gets regularly updated over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That way you can listen or watch these discussions in whichever way you prefer. Anyway, we're pretty much at the end here. But before we go, I wanted to take a second, go around the table one last time, and give each of you 5 seconds to tell us about yourselves and where our listeners can find you on the internet. Starting with you, Daniel, because you're first in my order.
Hi everyone, Daniel. I do Good Vibes Gaming, but I'm also on Twitch at Official GBG. We do Good Vibes Arcade every Tuesday and Thursday, sometimes on Saturdays as well. And I'd like to have hopefully y'all on that sometime playing some games with each other if you haven't already been, because I know we have some guests here who have been. But yeah, we're all about them good vibes.
Cool. Lex?
Hello, my name is Lex. You can find me at ThatLexPlays on pretty much everything: Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I'm also a part of Zelda Universe, even though you don't see me much on there in person these days. I mostly work back-end stuff, but I am there. And at some point, my Twitch channel will come back up. At some point, when I'm not drowning in grad school work. So until then, I'll just show up on other people's streams and just vibe with them until I have the time to do more stuff on my own.
Cool. Sam, what about you?
Hi, I am Sam, or NintendoFanGirl. You can find me pretty much everywhere. I'm a Nintendo content creator, and I'm trying a new thing where I stream regularly on Twitch. So I'm
Yeah, dude.
NinFangirl on Twitch. There's a
Nine
new
Inch
thing where
Nails.
now people keep making fun of me for being 9 Inch Nails fangirl. And
Welcome
quoting
to
9
live
Inch-
streaming.
Quoting 9 Inch
Oh.
Nails lyrics at me, and I don't know a single 9 Inch Nails song, so I keep being like,
That
what?
means you
Like,
need to go
what?
through all of the discography, Sam. That's
What
what
are
it
you
means.
talking about?
Paralyzed, right? That's 9
I
Inch
don't know.
Nails?
I literally
think.
don't know.
Okay.
So
Oh my God.
you can catch me on Twitch very frequently now, unless I give up. But so far,
Cool.
I haven't.
Don't do it. Don't give up.
I won't
Yeah.
give up.
No, I was thinking of Finger 11. I messed up. Well, oh well.
Wow, fake fan. There's a lot of fingers going on here. There's a lot of bands with that in their name. Weird. That That felt weird saying it out loud. Tris, what about you?
Yeah.
You guys gave me a look, and I just felt like I had to say that. Sorry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, he said finger 11 and then like 9-inch nails. There's a lot of like finger
Hey,
theming.
Tris, where can we find you?
Nails are on finger.
Ahoy!
Oh, nail.
Tris,
Ahoy, I am
start talking
Tris.
over me. I don't stop.
Oh, please.
Ahoy! I am Tris. You can find me on social media at ToonTris, or you can find me making content over on Game Explain.
Cool. What's coming up next? I mean, you're all Mario movied out, but Zelda analysis.
Zelda.
Zelda
I
analysis?
just had I don't know when this is going up in comparison, but I had like a big Zelda analysis go up where I was like, okay, I need to like not spend like 2 weeks on this. I need to get something up, so I just basically covered the biggest things as fast as I could. It went up this weekend as of recording, and I'm happy
cool.
with how it came up.
All right, yeah, go give that a watch. Yoshiller, round us out, man. You're always last.
I know, alphabetically, it's awful. Hey, hello, humans. I'm Yoshiller. Bye-bye, humans. I'm still Yoshiller. Thanks for checking me out. I try to do videos as frequently as I can on my channel, and I record a variety of Nintendo games. I've been specializing lately in recording content and modes and features of games that otherwise aren't currently shown. At the time of recording this video, I just made a 2-hour video of Jirachi.
Ooh.
Oh,
So that's coming out.
cool. Wow, you've got the script down pat. You've got it ready.
And that was pretty close to 5 seconds.
I know. Rap God.
Thank you.
Well, and with that concludes our discussion. So once again, if you're still watching or listening, thank you for making it this far, and I look forward to hearing you guys' thoughts in the comments below or stream or wherever you share your feedback. We'll be back next month for some more discussion, but for now, there's only one thing left to say before we take off, and that is, of course, as always, I'm alecandstuff. Do your best out there, and I will see you guys all again real soon. Bye! We can wave now. This is cool.
Kingdom.
Till we meet again.
Yay!
Visually say goodbye.
Cool.
Amazing.
See you later, fam.